Fox Sports.
We are the North. We are the West.
The Rangers have ascended to their loftiest heights in 11 years' time. They are 7 games up in the AL West, and their closest competition stays in town tonight. The Angels are here, a sellout crowd expected. The excitement for Ranger baseball now officially reaching a fever pitch. And tonight, Mr. Ranger, my broadcast partner Tom Grieve, receives his long overdue induction into the Rangers Hall of Fame. Those ceremonies begin right now. We'll pitch it to the voice of Rangers Ballpark in Arlington, Mr. Chuck Morgan.
Baseball, Berkey did the chugging, Toby Nelson gave on Perry too. All members of the Texas Ranger crew, just like Buddy.
Ballpark in Arlington. Tonight, the Texas Rangers welcome you to the 2010 Texas Rangers Alumni Legacy and Texas Rangers Baseball Hall of Fame induction. Ladies and gentlemen, the Rangers welcome a number of special guests as well as former managers, players, and coaches who are in attendance at tonight's game. At this time, we direct your attention to the area near home plate as we introduce members of the Texas Rangers alumni. Please welcome pitcher Gerald Alexander. Pitcher Mike Bassick. Pitcher Mike Bassick Jr. Outfielder Kevin Belcher. Catcher Rich Billings. Pitcher Mark Brandenburg. Infielder David Chalk. Pitcher Keith Creel. Infielder Odie Davis. Outfielder Tommy Dunbar. Infielder Jeff Fry. Pitcher Jose Guzman. Pitcher Rich Hand. Bullpen and pitching coach Larry Hardy. Outfielder Donald Harris. Pitcher Rich Hinton. First baseman Dave Hostetler. Outfielder David Hulse. Pitcher Mike Jeffcoat. Infielder Jeff Kunkel. Manager Frank Lucchese. Former equipment manager Joe Macco. The doctor of defense, infielder Mark McLemore. Pitcher Tommy Moore. Pitcher Mike Munoz. Outfielder Jim Norris. First baseman Pete O'Brien. Pitching coach Claude Osteen. Infielder Ken Poppy. Pitcher Roger Pavlik. Catcher Gino Petrali. In the Rangers dugout, former outfielder Gary Pettis. Outfielder Leon Roberts. General manager Eddie Robinson. Pitcher Jeff Russell. Infielder Scott Sheldon. Outfielder Mike Sims. Pitcher, Dan Smith. Pitcher, Don Stanhouse. Infielder, Bill Stein. Catcher, Ken Suarez. Designated hitter, Mickey Tettleton. Pitcher, Dwayne Vaughn. Infielder, Curtis Wilkerson. Pitcher, Matt Williams. Pitcher, Bobby Witt. And outfielder, George Wright. And now, ladies and gentlemen, entering the field at this time, the family of the 2010 Hall of Fame inductee, the wife of Tom Grieve, Kathy Grieve. Tom's son, Tim, and his wife, Holly Grieve, and their daughters, Abby and Ellie. Tom's son, Ben Grieve, and his children, Bodie and Kaya. Tom's daughter, Katie, and Jay Danzy. Making tonight's induction presentation, a former president and managing partner of the Texas Rangers, who has most recently served as the United States ambassador to Australia and Japan, Ambassador Tom Schieffer. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the members of the Texas Rangers Baseball Hall of Fame. He played multiple positions for the Rangers: shortstop, second base, and third base. He was the Rangers' first All-Star and went on to receive that honor 3 times during his career, along with being named the 1975 Rangers Player of the Year. He was inducted to the Rangers Hall of Fame in 2009, Toby Harrah. He is a fan favorite, best known for his countless number of diving catches in the outfield, one of the top clutch hitters in Rangers history. Inducted to the Rangers Hall of Fame in 2007, Rusty Greer. And we welcome back a knuckleballer. He was a Major League All-Star, 6-time Rangers Pitcher of the Year, a member of the 2003 class of the Rangers Hall of Fame, pitcher Charlie Huff. And we welcome 2-time All-Star, winner of 6 consecutive American League Gold Glove catching awards, a member of the 2003 Hall of Fame induction class, catcher Jim Sundberg. He pitched for 27 seasons, holds the all-time Major League marks of 5,714 strikeouts, 7 no-hitters. A member of the 2003 induction class, a 1999 inductee to the National Baseball Hall of Fame, the president of the Texas Rangers, Nolan Ryan. Please welcome our special guests, the Texas Rangers alumni and current members of the Texas Rangers Baseball Hall of Fame. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to the warning track down the left field line. The 2010 Texas Rangers Baseball Hall of Fame inductee, Tom Grieve. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium a 2003 Texas Rangers Hall of Fame inductee, and the Senior Executive Vice President for the Texas Rangers, Mr. Jim Sundberg.
On behalf of Team President Nolan Ryan, General Manager John Daniels, thank you for coming out tonight to help us welcome into the Texas Rangers Hall of Fame, Tom Grieve. Tom, congratulations. A special thanks to the Rangers alumni who turned out for the events this weekend. It's always a great time to get together and a chance to see everyone and to kind of catch up. All current and former Ranger players share something very special. We've had the privilege of wearing a Texas Ranger uniform in front of you, the best fans in baseball. All of us out here today have shared in a partnership with you, and on behalf of all current players and former Rangers, we deeply thank you for your support.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, Tom Grieve will join Rangers President and Baseball Hall of Famer Nolan Ryan in the area in front of the podium. Nolan is presenting Tom with a special framed letter from a former managing partner of the Rangers and a former boss of Tom's who is unable to be here tonight. The letter reads, "Congratulations on your selection to the Rangers Hall of Fame. It is about time. You have handled every Rangers job from player to the front office to the broadcast booth with class, honesty, and dignity. Laura and I are proud to call you a friend. Our best to the family," signed by the 43rd President of the United States, George W. Bush. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome former president and managing partner of the Texas Rangers Baseball Club, Ambassador Tom Schieffer, for tonight's Texas Rangers Baseball Hall of Fame induction.
Thanks, Chuck. 44 years ago this summer, Tom Grieve became the first-round draft choice of the Washington Senators. It was the first step in an association with this franchise that has lasted almost continuously to this very day. Tom Grieve has done everything you can do for this ball club. He's been a player, a salesman, a minor league manager, the farm director, the general manager, and the broadcaster of its games. He's done so much for so long, for so many, that he has affectionately come to be known as Mr. Ranger. Over the years, a lot of great ball players have worn the Rangers uniform. A lot of great people have worked for the organization. But none has loved the Rangers more or worked harder for their success than Tom Grieve. We honor him today for a lifetime of achievement with the Texas Rangers. When I think of Tom Grieve, I think of honesty and decency, of fairness and integrity. But most of all, I think of a man who loves his family and loves this special game we call baseball. Tom loves the history, the culture, the tradition of the game. To him, baseball is the great teacher. You respect your opponent even when you're doing everything you can to win. You remember those who came before because they were the ones who passed along the game to you. And you nurture the kids who have the same sense of wonder and joy that you had when you first fell in love with the game. Sometimes our heroes can disappoint us when they seem to have so little regard for the game, when all they talk about is themselves or the money or their celebrity. But with Tom Grieve, you never had any of that. He knows how much baseball means to you because he knows how much baseball means to him. That's why he always signs the autographs, answers the fan mail, stops to say hello, or to offer the words of encouragement. He's always appreciated the fact that in the good times or the bad, whether he was a ball player, a general manager, or a broadcaster, that millions of fans would give anything they had to trade places with him, to be a part of the magic of baseball. With Tom Grieve, there has never been a sense of entitlement. There has always been a sense of appreciation. The wonders of baseball, the teammates, the stories, the laughter filled his soul with the joys of the game. He's always been grateful for that, and it shows. No individual could ever be more deserving of the honor the Rangers bestow tonight on Tom Grieve. Before I read the inscription on the plaque that will hang in the Rangers Hall of Fame, I want to share one other thought with you about Tom Grieve. For all his love of the game, Tom never forgot what was really important in life, the family he adores. I remember once complimenting Tom about his family, and he told me a story about his early days in baseball. He was on a bus with an old baseball manager whose personal life was in a mess. The fellow told Tom to be careful. Baseball could so dominate your life that it could ruin your family. Tom told me he never wanted that to happen to him. Sitting on the field tonight is proof that it didn't. Tom and his beautiful wife, Kathy, have been married for 40 years. They raised 3 great kids, Tim, Ben, and Katie. They are the proud grandparents of 6, with 2 more on the way. If they ever open up a Hall of Fame for sons, brothers, husbands, fathers, or grandfathers, Tom Grieve will be a first ballot inductee for sure. Now I'd like to read the inscription on the plaque that will honor Tom Grieve in the Rangers Hall of Fame. Tom Grieve, the ultimate Mr. Ranger. Of his 44 years in professional baseball, 43 have been with the Washington, Texas franchise as a player, executive, and broadcaster. Selected by the Senators in the first round of the June 1966 amateur draft, Tom made his major league debut with Washington in 1970. He was a Rangers outfielder from 1972 to 77 with a .255 average in 562 games. He earned Club Player of the Year honors in 1976 with career bests of 20 homers and 81 RBI. He completed his playing career with the Mets and Cardinals before joining the Texas front office in 1980. Tom served as Rangers general manager from 1984 to 94, the longest tenure in club history. During that span, Texas acquired, through the professional and amateur ranks, much of the nucleus for the 96, 98, and 99 AL West Division championship teams. Since 1995, he has been an analyst on Ranger Telecast, the club's longest-running television announcer ever. He was the first recipient of the Harold McKinney Good Guy Award in 1975, and he was a repeat winner in 1994. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my high honor and personal privilege to welcome to the podium the 2010 Texas Rangers Hall of Fame inductee, Mr. Ranger Tom Grieve.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom, very much. It's an honor for me that you would be here today and have such nice words to say. Thank you. I've said many times that my goal as a little boy was to be a baseball player. For that to have happened has truly been a dream come true. To have been able to stay in baseball after my playing career in a front office capacity and as a broadcaster has been icing on the cake. And to have been associated with this franchise for 43 of my 44 years in baseball has been a privilege. I wouldn't be here because of my playing career, wouldn't be here because of my front office career, probably wouldn't be here because of my broadcasting. That the Rangers have deemed the sum of the parts worthy of this distinction is something I greatly appreciate, something that is incredibly meaningful to me, and something of which I am very proud. So I thank the Rangers, Nolan, Sonny, John Blake, and everyone on the committee for making this day possible. At the risk of slighting someone, I do want to recognize a number of people. Frank Lucchese was my one major league manager who believed in me as an everyday player and gave me that chance. Eddie Robinson, Brad Corbett gave me the opportunity to begin a front office career when my playing days were over. Mike Stone, in spite of my youth and inexperience, believed I could be a general manager. Sandy Johnson found excellent players, and Bobby Valentine managed them very well. Without them, my tenure would have been less lengthy. Nolan brought his competitiveness and talent to our franchise and gave us credibility and respect. Tom Schieffer, at the end of my front office time, actually after he fired me, asked me to stay in the organization and try broadcasting. My three partners, Mark Holtz, Bill Jones, Josh Lewin, along with our producer, Kurt Dykert, and all the people on his team have done the heavy lifting and made my job as a broadcaster easy. I want to recognize my teammates and all the players from my front office years, many of whom are here today, especially my roommates, Rich Billings and Jackie Brown, and also Toby Hara and Bill Ziegler. We were all together in the instructional league, winter ball, minor leagues, big leagues. We never won much, but I'm pretty sure no one had more fun than we did. While we can't remember all the wins or all the losses, we will never forget the camaraderie and the lasting friendships, and I thank all of you guys for that. And also our current players, Wash, coaches, staff. I'm honored that so many of you have chosen to be in the dugout for this. That means a lot to me. I can't tell you how much I enjoy being around you guys every day. You're the best. If I was asked what in your life has made me most proud, that answer would be simple: my family. I'm glad most of them could be here. I love all of you very much, and I'm proud of every one of you. And along with everyone I've mentioned, because I know they would all say the same thing, I share a deep appreciation and immense sense of gratitude to you, our fans, for your kindness, your support, and for all that you've meant to me and my family. Thank you for being here, and thank you again to the Rangers for this honor and making this a very special day for me and my family. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2010 inductee into the Texas Rangers Baseball Hall of Fame, Tom Grieve. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the 2010 Rangers Baseball Hall of Fame induction. The Rangers Baseball Hall of Famers will be taking some photographs. Following the photos, we invite you to honor Tom Grieve as he takes a lap around the warning track and heads back up to the broadcast booth.
F-150. Check out the 2010 F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. By Progressive. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. Also by Jack in the Box. Get Jack's really big chicken sandwich combo for only $3.99 plus tax. And by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag. It's on. And what a fantastic ceremony for Mr. Ranger. Tom Grieve is now finally in that Rangers Hall of Fame. He'll be in the booth by the third inning, we figure. Mark McLemore is, well, to coin a phrase, the substitute. That was a little inside there. They played the substitute from the Ramones as Tom was driven around the field. Tom was in a Ramones video. You were not, but
no.
Still great to have you here, Mac.
Thanks. Good to be here, and especially sitting in for Tom. He definitely deserves this honor. Glad to see him in there, and it couldn't have happened for a nicer guy.
Well, and we'll talk more about tag tonight for sure. Tell you more about that ceremony that you just saw. Got to tell you about Michael Young here off the top, because he has just owned the first innings of these two games so far. The Rangers had defeated the Angels back-to-back nights, Mac, and it was Michael Young taking matters into his own hands. First inning both times.
Well, this is what a veteran player does. He comes out, he's ready to play, he's up for the occasion, and Michael Young has been the type of player that can rise to any occasion, and he understands that this is a great opportunity for the Rangers to put some ground between themselves and the Angels, and he started it off both nights in that first inning.
He's an L.A. guy. He says it's weird to hear the beat L.A. chants and agree with that sentiment, because his whole life he's hated that. But the Angels are now the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Ibar is Torres Abreu, Hunter Matsui, Kayaspo. Napoli, who's really performed well in this ballpark and against tonight's starter Scott Feldman. Jeff Mathis and Reggie Willits rounded out. And we mentioned Scott Feldman. This is a, I don't want to say it's a make or break start necessarily, Mac, but he's got to get it right pretty soon.
Scott does. He's had an opportunity to come out and make every start every fifth day, and he just hasn't been able to find his spot yet, find that rhythm that where he can control that sinker, because that's his out pitch. That's a pitch that he has to be able to throw and get guys out and get a lot of ground balls, and he just hasn't been able to find that this year.
You saw as part of that Suzuki scouting report a rather high opponent's batting average, and he has allowed the most hits in the American League. Remember, he began the year as the opening day starter, and essentially now, Mac, he's the number 5 starter and kind of hanging on for dear life to that.
Well, I think a lot of those numbers can be attributed to the fact that he's not getting that sinker where he wants to, and when that sinker is flat, it means it stays up in the zone, and there you have the highest batting average, because it's a very hittable pitch when it doesn't sink, and that's really his problem, just not getting that sinker where he wants to, when he wants to.
Opening up against a guy who's hit him well in the past, Eric Ibar, 7 out of 15 against him. And has had some very strong games against the Rangers overall the last 2 seasons.
Eric Ibar is that classic leadoff guy. Small guy, not much power, but he takes a lot of pitches, makes the pitcher work, hits ground balls the other way, runs very well, high on base percentage, and that's the kind of game the Angels have put together for, about 10 years now under the helmsmanship of Mike Scioscia.
That one going upstairs, and from 0-2 to 3-2. The Rangers have not walked a batter in this series. 2 straight games now. Just a nice clean slate. Of course, Cliff Lee and C.J. Wilson have done the heavy lifting on that. Last night was essentially identity theft. C.J. Wilson as Cliff Lee, and it worked real well. In left field, it's Hamilton, and Ibar is out to begin the night. Hamilton's with Bourbon and Cruz as you check the Ranger defense. On into the infield, Young, Andrews, Kinsler, and Davis. And Benji Molina, already anointed the starting catcher, will be going even further, it looks like now, with Matt Traynor on the DL. And Taylor Teagarden welcome back today in strictly a backup role.
Well, I think Taylor's going to get some time, not very much time. I believe Benji's going to really take the bulk of it. I think he would have gotten a little bit more rest if Traynor hadn't gone on the DL, but since he's not, I think Benji's going to see just a little bit more time.
Taylor rejoins the Rangers on a 93-degree Saturday evening. A very still night. And Taylor was hitting .242 at Double-A. He had just finished up in a loss for Frisco last night. Was in his car driving home and got beat to turn around, U-turn, go back and grab his stuff. The MRI wasn't until today for Matt Traynor, but sure enough, a sprained knee. He's going to be out for a little bit.
That's a tough blow for the Rangers. Matt Traynor's done a tremendous job. First getting over here late in spring training, coming in and splitting some time with Max Ramirez, and then actually getting more time than Max, getting into that starting role, but done an outstanding job with this pitching staff, especially getting here so late in spring training and not being familiar with any of the guys. So just a tremendous job, and it's a tough blow, but I believe the Rangers have enough depth at the catching position to where they can sustain this, or they can get through this.
On 2-2 to his Turris. He'll pop one back in the still arriving crowd here. It's going to be a sellout tonight. They were selling standing room tickets about an hour ago. Last night's crowd, a sellout, 46,000 plus. And as we said coming on the air tonight, Mac, it is absolutely apparent now. The Ranger fever has just kind of washed over the Metroplex. Young traipsing over. Right near that dugout, and right in front of the Angels. He takes it away. Isn't that emblematic?
It's great. This is a great atmosphere to see everybody out here. And one of the things that we saw back in the 90s when we were winning the championships here was red. And just to come out here and see all of this red out here is tremendous. And I know the players are so excited to come out here and see the support that the fans are giving them right now. It's just incredible.
Amazing what some winning can do for the old attendance.
It's all it takes.
And for the first time since 1999, Mark McLemore's last year as a Ranger. A team in just a fantastic position. 7 games up. And they're not quite to the 100-game mark yet, but 7 up. And trying to get to where they haven't been in 11 years. Bobby Abreu was a strikeout victim to end the game last night. Neftali Feliz getting his 27th save. Leads the American League. A nice clean inning. But again, it was C.J. Wilson the story last night. The 1-0 win. Abreu socks it to right. Nelly Cruz stays with it. Inning over, and the Rangers now. They've scored in the first inning, back-to-back nights. Elvis Andrus to lead off when we return. Competition. Boston, Detroit, and now home against these Angels. They have squeaked out a pair of one-run victories. The Rangers' batting order features Andrus, Young, and Kinsler. 34 of his last 37, including 16 in a row. Then the former Angel, Vlad Guerrero. Josh Hamilton leads the majors in batting average. Nelly Cruz and another former Angel, Benji Molina. Chris Davis and Julio Borbon up against the 8 and 7 right-hander Irvin Santana. Now, as we scout him out courtesy of Suzuki, Santana's the guy that in the past, I guess, has really had some issues winning on the road. Not this year.
No, not at all. And his 8-7 record is really not indicative of how he's pitched. He just hasn't had the run support from this Angels offense. And Irvin Santana has above average stuff. And he is a guy that can win at any point. And, you know, it looks as though he's solved his road win problems.
Andrews, who's slumping a bit still, hitting just 189 in July. Trying to kickstart it for the Rangers here, who have scored in the first innings both nights in this series thanks to the guy on deck. Michael Young's homer yesterday, the only run of the entire game. Who knew?
You just don't expect that here in Texas, no matter who's on the mound pitching. This has, you know, been known as a hitter's ballpark, and for a one-run ball game, you just don't see too many of those here.
The Rangers had never won in this ballpark 1-0 on a solo home run. It had never happened until Michael Young last night. A solo homer in the first to win even on the road for the Rangers. It happened only once. Jeff Burroughs did that. 1974 in Cleveland. That's how long it had been since something like that. And again, never here at home.
Well, this is definitely a tough ballpark to do that, for that to happen.
A chopper to first and a big friendly hop to Napoli. On to Santana, bringing up Michael Young. We'll show you the LA defense. The Angels in the outfield tonight are Willits, Hunter, and Abreu left to right. Teoscar just brought in from Kansas City. Ibar and Asturias very slick up the middle. Napoli, who's a catcher by trade, is at first as Kendry Morales is out for the year. And Mathis tonight will catch Santana. Blue skies and warm in the 90s. And there will be some body heat as well. Everybody packed in here tonight. The standing room only crowd. Michael heating up just like the weather. He has a history of hitting for power in the second half of the season, and that's kind of odd, I guess, Mac, because in this ballpark everybody says you're supposed to wilt.
Well, Michael Young does not wilt anywhere. He's been around. He understands what he needs to do out here at this ballpark when the team is at home in order to be ready and fresh in the second half of the season. And he does definitely heat up in the second half. And it's hard to, you know, really distinguish the first half and second half because Michael Young is such a great player pretty much all year long.
That's very true. I mean, it's not like Michael ever gets out at some sort of 3 for 30 and then turns it on in May and then gets better in June. He's usually outstanding right out of the chute.
Right.
But the power numbers just seem to get better as these months flip along. Driving it to right yet again. But this time it's going to curl to Abreu. Now, speaking of getting hot and staying hot, here comes Kinsler. 16-game hitting streak. And against Santana, Mac, 10 out of 26 with 3 jacks. So just one of those guys that he feels comfortable against.
Well, that's a great thing, especially tonight. They're trying to get out to that early lead, get Santana out of the game as quickly as possible, and get into that bullpen. And when you've got a guy that you know you hit well, believe me, that guy out there on the mound knows who you are as well. So he's going to be try to be very, very careful with him pitching.
Starts him off speed, right on the outside corner. You've got Sam Holbrook calling balls and strikes tonight. Greg Gibson, Brian Knight, Jerry Davis, who's the crew chief on the bases. A little harder that time. Not by too much, but Kinsler's behind 0-2. $16 wins last year for Santana. Actually, I'm sorry, year before last, 16 wins. Last year was his injured year. Struggled to an 8-8 record. He's a guy that throws a lot of sliders. And when he's on, that's a real tough pitch. And Kinsler just couldn't help himself. Rangers down in order, just like the Angels went down in order. Torrey Hunter will be at the plate when we come back. No score at the end of one.
All right, thanks, Josh. Look who we have in Community Corner tonight. It is Jenny Lewis, the wife of Kobe Lewis, here to talk about a big upcoming auction in August dealing with some players' gift baskets.
That's right. This year's Wives Community Service Project is going to be benefiting a local women's foundation, and each player's wife, girlfriend, or fiance has put together a gift basket of their husband's favorite items, DVDs, CDs. This is my husband's, actually, and there's a signed glove in here. He was on a program. He signed that, a baseball, a Metallica CD, his favorite movie, and 100% of the proceeds are going to go to the local women's shelter. In addition, we have a Nolan Ryan basket. We have a coaching staff basket. And we have a custom-made jersey, and the entire team signed that. We're going to be auctioning off that as well.
That is awesome. The auction is when?
The auction is August 14th. It's a game against Boston on Saturday, and the bidding begins at 5 o'clock. It lasts for 90 minutes, and then we close, and then whoever has the highest bid at the end wins the basket.
Very good. Nice basket. Appreciate the time. Thank you, Jenny. Good seeing you. Josh.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Jim. And, of course, Hubby continues to pitch exceptionally. The Rangers, top to bottom, have been doing that with the two lefties back-to-back now against the Angels, Cliff Lee and C.J. Wilson. Got a righty tonight, Scott Feldman, now against Torrey Hunter. And Torrey Hunter last night, I thought a big at bat. He got up 3-0 against C.J. Wilson, and C.J. found a way to come back and get him. He never did walk a batter last night. And what's weird, I think, Mac, is he didn't get a swing and a miss, let alone a strikeout, until the 7th inning in that game.
Well, I think one of the things that CJ is already picking up from Cliff Lee is the fact that you don't have to go for the strikeout every time. You can go out there and just get outs and let this tremendous defense work behind you. You look at, the strikeout total last night was just 3 and no walks. That's the big number for me, is just having no walks and a low number of strikeouts. And that means that he let his defense work for him and just not try to strike everybody out. Let your defense work, like I said, and just throw strikes.
He had the strikeout pitch working real well in Boston. There was 10 strikeouts, but also 5 walks. So 15 times the ball was not put in play. Last night that number wasn't 15, it was 3. No walks, 3 strikeouts. And CJ, since the All-Star break, and, as we say, winning 2 very different ways, Mac, his ERA is 0.6 coming out of the All-Star break in 2 starts. So, oh, and by the way, there's Cliff Lee, too.
Right there next to him, huh?
Hunter will sail one towards right. And it's funny because Torrey Hunter was one of the guys, Mac, that was talking about C.J. Wilson's comments from earlier this month where, you know, he had said, we're the better team, 100%. Torrey Hunter called that a hot tamale, that kind of a statement. And essentially last night, Torrey Hunter was forced to eat a hot tamale.
He was, and normally, you know, when you're in the middle of a pennant race like they are now, you know, you kind of look for statements like that. Unfortunately, there are some guys that will do that. And other teams find that as fuel. You're just adding fuel to the fire. And, you know, you still got to go out there and play the ball games and win them.
Well, that's the thing. It's another fly ball out is achieved by Feldman. If the Angels were, quote unquote, all fired up, no, they never got a runner to second base last night is how that game turned out. So essentially no harm, no foul, at least for last night.
No harm, no foul, but there's a lot of season left. So you kind of want to keep that, you know, to a minimum. Making it public is one of those things that just adds a little bit of fuel to the fire. And you've got to remember, this is a championship team. They've won the division the last 5 out of 6 years. So they know how to win. And we are still in July. So there's a lot of baseball left and a lot of baseball left against this ball club.
And to CJ's credit, it's not like after the game last night he said, told you.
That's a good thing. That's a very good thing. Let the win speak for itself.
Yeah. No, he retired 15 straight at one point last night. Now it's up to Feldman to pick up the baton and keep running. It's been Lee passing it to CJ. CJ now hands it off to Feldman. And he needs to start like the ones from the past 2 nights.
He does. You know, the thing about Scotty, he's working hard. He's trying to find it. His mechanics seem to be a little bit off and just not finding that control. And sometimes that happens, especially for a young guy. But he's still going out there and battling every 5th day and trying to get it done.
Kai Osbo beats it into the ground. Feldman covering, steps on the bag, and so far so good for Scott Feldman. Taking that baton with a high leg kick through 2 innings. There is no score. MLB.tv. See every Rangers game live or on demand on your computer. Visit TexasRangers.com to order and to get more details. Mark McLemore is here with me, filling in for Tom Grieve for the moment. I notice that you've got the iTouch. Is that what that is? iPad. Tag's got an abacus, so Vladdy spins out of the way. The crowd hoots a little bit. Tom will be back in the booth in the 3rd, by the way, if you're just joining us. So we started at 7:30 tonight. Tom's big Hall of Fame induction was at 7. Went beautifully. Guerrero chops to short. Vladdy now 3 for his last 24. Mac, you've gotten a chance to know Tag as well as anybody, and just the outpouring of love tonight, so genuine and so pure. Those players that you're looking at in the dugout, I mean, all of them out there to make sure that they represented, and they wanted to see what Tom had to say.
Well, I think, it works both ways. There was a genuine outpour of affection for Tom, and that's exactly what he shows everyone else. I've known Tom for a number of years now, and he is just one of the nicest people that I've ever met in this game. Shows everyone respect, has nothing but nice things to say, even about players, opposing teams, the home team. He is just a very nice gentleman.
Josh Hamilton will take down and outside. I love what Tom Schiefer said about entitlement against appreciation.
Absolutely. Tom just appreciates the opportunity to have been a big league ball player and to come to this ballpark every night and do this job.
Not a shred of entitlement or ego. We can talk about Tag now in this way because he's not in the booth. He'd be too embarrassed if he was actually here.
He would be, and that's just how he is.
Well, if he's DVRing this and TiVoing it or what have you, I just want to make sure that he knows from this booth and from the broadcast truck, we very sincerely agree with all the sentiments that Tom Schiefer so beautifully stated tonight. And the only issue I think a lot of people had was, why did it take so long?
Absolutely. This is something that is definitely overdue, but glad that he's finally in the Hall of Fame as Mr. Ranger.
As the catchphrase goes this year, it's time. Nelson Cruz lofting it to center. I'm not convinced Tag's going to be back right away in that. Hang out just for a little. This game's kind of snapping along here.
No, I'll stick around.
All right, love it. Scott Feldman doing great so far. No score at the end of 2. AT&T. See what's new from AT&T. Go to att.com for details. Sellout, standing room only crowd. Fever pitch for the Rangers. They are 7 games up on the Angels. They are 8 games up on the A's, who won today. Let's not forget about those Oakland A's. They come in for 3 starting on Tuesday. Let down your guard against those guys. They're right back in the race, too.
You can't let your guard down at any point in time. You've got, when a team has solid pitching, you can never count them out, and that's what the A's have. They're full of young arms, and they can get the job done because that's how you win, pitching and defense.
Mike Napoli is a guy who can quickly get the train moving here for the Angels. 11 out of 21 lifetime against Feldman. And having homered in 4 of his last 6 games. But Feldman's been making quality pitches tonight. All 7 batters really not able to square up on him.
He has been making quality pitches. That's the 5th fly ball there. And he's making the outs. And I think one of the big things is that he's not throwing the ball down the middle of the plate. He's keeping it down in the zone and hitting the corners inside and outside and staying away from the middle of the plate.
The Rangers in this series so far, no walks at all. The last time they've gone 3 straight games without a walk, you got to go back to 1996.
That year rings a bell.
I would hope it does. Full disclosure, Mark McLemore played for the Rangers for 5 years. The Rangers went to the playoffs 3 of those 5 years, so you're at 60%. The other 34 years, Zippo. They're 0 for 34, so.
I was lucky.
No, you were good, too, but the Rangers can get off the schneid here. They can have a non-Mark McLemore-related playoff trip here this year. It'll be the first one ever.
They can. They've got an outstanding ball club. They're a very well-balanced ball club offensively. Defensively, they're outstanding.
Oh, and Feldman just continues to mostly miss bats here. Check this out here from Mathis.
Down in the zone, that's where he wants to be. And if he's going to miss, that's the place to miss.
The 0-2 pitch is inside. And frankly, Mac, I didn't see the foul tip that registered that as they continued at bat when we showed the replay, but
no, I didn't catch that either. Maybe they heard something.
Moot point. Another piece of contact that's just not very productive for the Angels. And again, back to Cliff Lee and back to C.J. Wilson. All kinds of contact, but nothing really squared up and lined anywhere.
Well, that's what you want to have, and especially with this defense that they've got playing behind them. Pitching staff has to be very confident with these guys that play behind them with the leather, knowing that they can catch the ball, and they don't feel like they have to go out there and strike everybody out. They can pitch to contact, stay away from the middle of the plate, and know that the guys behind them are going to catch that baseball more times than not.
And Feldman, you know, I mean, he's, by his nature, he doesn't have that kind of look where he's necessarily ferocious. He's not Cujo out there, you know, but you can pitch ferocious, right? You can
be very unassuming. It doesn't matter what you look like as long as you're getting outs.
He's going to get 9 of them to start the night. Scott Feldman is falling right in line with C.J. Wilson and Cliff Lee. Mark McLemore, a pleasure. You didn't see very much in terms of hitting, but
I like it. I'll take the pitching.
All right, man.
Anytime, baby.
You'll be turning into Tom Grieve in 2 minutes. A little magic guy when we come back. And back in the booth, you didn't miss a blessed thing. I'm looking at my scorebook here. I hadn't been a base runner yet.
Well,
so.
thanks to both you and Fritz for the scorecard. Now I know exactly what happened, and I got back as soon as I could so Mac didn't Wally Pitt me.
Well, your seat hardly even got warmed up.
All right, well, thanks.
We're happy to have you back. And how did it feel down there?
That was a little overwhelming at first, but it went well. It was nice to have my family there. That felt great.
Tom Schiefer's words I thought were perfect. It's a great choice of a guy to make that speech, I thought.
Yeah, he did a great job. Very nice of Tom. By the way this game's going, we're on about a 1 hour pace for 3 innings. If it started at 7 o'clock.
The first 25 minutes was pretty cool. The Tom Grieve retrospective. And now a pitching duel shaping up, it would appear, between Scott Feldman and Irvin Santana tonight. This kind of continues a theme in this series. We've seen a 3-2 game and a 1-0 game. And it's weird, Tom. The Rangers have scored only 5 runs now over their last 3+ games, but they've only lost once. That was to Max Scherzer. Molina down on strikes.
Well, that's one thing when we talk about the Rangers. It's a well-rounded team. It's not a team that has to outscore the other team to win, because the Rangers have very good starting pitching and an excellent bullpen. The Rangers are really equipped to win these kind of games. And if they weren't, they'd be 0-2 in this 4-game series.
Ron Washington watched C.J. Wilson go out there last night, and it was a kind of impression of Cliff Lee that just, I mean, it gave you pause. Like, we just saw this exact same act the night before. All those backdoor cutters, just pounding fastballs in there. C.J. threw, they said, Tom, 91 of his 104 pitches last night that were fastballs of some sort. That's close to 90%.
Well, that has to be an exact attempt to duplicate Cliff Lee and throwing the fastballs. And Tommy Hunter's been trying to do the same thing. And the theory behind it is the fastball is the easiest pitch to throw where you want the ball to go. And if they're not hitting it, why change? Why risk hanging a breaking ball or throwing something else? It's a great philosophy. It's not that difficult a philosophy.
Well, if you've got a good fastball, right?
If you've got number one, a good fastball, but the big thing is it doesn't work very good if you can't locate it. If it's all over the place, it's not going to do you much good. But Tommy and CJ both located their fastballs very well.
And CJ, who had come into that game leading the American League in walks, hardly went to 3 balls on a batter last night.
Yeah, it's remarkable when you look at his last start. You go back 5 days, 5 walks, 10 strikeouts, a dominating performance really against the Red Sox. He comes back and doesn't walk anybody.
Davis nails one towards the Snapple sign, and Chris Davis almost took it out. Galloping into second with a 1-out double. He just missed his first Ranger home run of the year.
Well, if he got it up in the air just a little bit, he would have had a home run, because that was a rope. It was extremely hard.
Now, before that at bat, 2 of his first 11 ABs against Santana in his career were home runs. And that was almost another.
Santana's got excellent stuff. Well above average repertoire of pitches. And so he's going to pitch a good game. You'd have to think that Scott's going to have to pitch a good game. The Rangers are going to have to scratch some runs and probably win another close game the way this one started.
So the first base runner of the game both ways. A Davis double to right. Santana, last time he pitched against the Rangers, it was last September right here. He beat Tommy Hunter and the Rangers 11-0. Remember when the wheels just kind of fell off for the Rangers at the very end of last year, and the Angels found their stride. But here are the Rangers not even a year later. They're threatening to run out to an 8-game lead on 2 different teams in the AL West. Seattle's already packed it in. They're 20 games out in the AL West. There was a scuffle in their dugout yesterday. Sean Figgins upset that he had been removed from the game. They were supposed to be the The team that would compete with the Angels, everybody said, but instead it's been the Rangers. Not only have they competed, they have sailed right on by. Here's your Jack-in-the-Box AL West standings board up to date. The Ranger fans can probably look at that for about 5 minutes. Look at that, up 7 on the Halos.
Get it back for Julio, laying off the tough breaking balls down and in. Attempted strikeout pitches if you swing at them. And if you take them, you work the count to 3-2. Maybe get a pretty good pitch to hit right here.
In the center field, Torrey Hunter's there.
He hit it well on a line, but right straight at Torrey Hunter.
So a 9-time Gold Glover. With the A's in town next week, a reminder Wednesday, it's a $1 hot dog night, also a Dr. Pepper autograph Wednesday. Ranger players and coaches signing autographs for kids 13 and under out in the concourse, starting at 5:30. TexasRangers.com, that's the website. 972 Rangers, that's the phone number. Big crowds expected. Massive crowds here this weekend, obviously. We had the sellout last night. Going to be another one tonight. And a Thursday night crowd, Tom, that was 100 people short of being 40,000 that night.
Wow, that's great. Well, it's exciting baseball. The Rangers are going out and playing the kind of baseball that fans want to come out and watch. It's exciting. They're a little daring on the bases at times, but it's still exciting to watch. They've got power. They've got good starting pitching. They've got an exciting bullpen with a closer that's 22 years old and can come in and close it out. A lot of great things to watch. If you're a Ranger fan, it's fun to watch this.
A 21-year-old shortstop at the plate right here that continues to dazzle at every turn.
Yep.
And the occasional base running mishap that you kind of alluded to, but again, the reminder, the little caveat, he is 21. Not too many of us at 21 had completely matured.
Well, you figure some kids that are coming out of college are about that age. Let's say they're the 15th pick in the draft. The organization is extremely excited about the major college player coming into their organization, who's probably going to have to play at least a year and a half, maybe 2.5 years of A-ball, AA, and AAA, get to the big leagues when he's 24 or 25. Elvis is going to be eligible for free agency when he's a year older than that.
Brought up here last year at the age of 20, straight up from AA. And, you know, it's kind of like what they said about Derek Jeter when he first came up. And he was older than that when he joined the Yankees. But they said to Derek Jeter, if you can just hit 240, 250, catch us some balls out there, we'll all be real happy. And Elvis met every expectation and just blew by them all last year.
I said that may make you happy, but I want more than that.
Right. On the ground past the mound to the other shortstop with the initials EA in this series. Eric Ibar makes the play. The inning comes to an end. We're through 3 tonight. Another close one between the Angels and the Rangers. No score. Support of the Weatherford Little League. And for more info on Chevy's commitment to Youth League Baseball, just go to ChevyTexasBaseball.com. Big crowd here to see the Rangers and the Angels and to see Tom Grieve get ushered into that Rangers Hall of Fame. Now, was the playing of the Ramones song a surprise to you?
Yeah, it was a surprise. I knew that Chuck, well, I don't know if it was Kurt Dykert or Chuck Morgan, but it had one of those two written all over it. That was very nice. Even my kids recognized that.
Some people even feel the pomp and circumstance. And
yeah, that was substitute by the Ramones. Chuck Morgan at his best.
Scott Feldman, not for nothing, Tag, has been pretty close to his best so far tonight, and on a night when everybody around town is saying, boy, he really needs to be.
Well, and I think Scott knows that. He didn't pitch well against Detroit. Since that time, he's watched all the other starters go out and really pitch well, and I think he's motivated tonight. He's motivated to stay in the rotation. He's motivated to go out and help his team.
Hamilton lays out. He almost hung onto it. He's going to get up, and he's going to fire. Look at this. Bye-bye at second base.
That's why he's the best player in baseball right now, because there's nothing on the field he can't do. Very seldom does a guy dive for a ball, have it kick away from him, and recover and throw a guy out by 30 feet.
He comes up wearing that chalk line, has the presence of mind. Look at this.
That play is going to be a highlight play for a long time. And don't take for granted what you're watching with Josh Hamilton. Very few players have ever played the game and done on the field what he's doing so far this year.
We go back to spring training, Tom, when the talk was Josh Hamilton is going to have something close to the year he had in 2008 if the Rangers are going to compete. He's been better than 2008. Doesn't resemble 2009 even a shred. He is healthy.
Look at the concentration. Almost caught that ball in the first place.
I think the more remarkable play is the one he ended up making anyway, and now they'll test him out the other way. Come on! Like, that's no big deal right there. The grace of a 6'4", 235-pounder. We'll take you back to a surprised Ibar.
He's going, oh no. How did he get the ball there that quickly? He can't believe it. I can't believe how quickly he got. Look at him looking out there. He said there must be two people out there. One guy dove and missed it. Someone else must have picked it up and thrown it.
Yeah. No,
the ball girl threw that ball in.
So you just don't think a guy who's just laid out so completely like that would be able to get up, collect himself, and fire a strike to second base.
That's. I don't have words to describe that any better. I think she threw it. She's got a guilty look on her face.
Now it takes a village.
That is fun to watch him play on a daily basis, boy. Fun to watch Scott Feldman pitch in this game so far, too. 42 pitches. He's almost through the fourth inning. No walks. That has a familiar ring to it.
A very welcome ring. And again, last night the Angels never did get a man to second base. They watched C.J. Wilson settle into that groove. He retired 15 straight. And then Feliz came on for the ninth, struck out Bobby Abreu to end the game. And it just brought the house down. The 1-0 win, the rarest score that you're probably going to see at this ballpark.
Josh, when I got back tonight, I noticed you had a nice batch of cookies back there.
Boy, I sure did. I baked them for you, Tag.
No, evidently Marley baked them. 6-month birthday today. She's a dog. It's a dog day. Thank you, Carol Duff, for the cookies. And Cliff and Sandra Proctor brought some fried pies, which evidently I haven't had one yet. Were delicious.
They were delicious.
Avery Missionary Baptist Church in Avery, Texas. Thank you, Sandra Proctor, for that.
There's the first Ranger walk of the entire series. Torrey Hunter comes up. We go to Jim Knox.
All right, thanks, Josh. Toby here, former Ranger great, in town for Hall of Fame weekend. Let's talk about this. You roomed with Tom Grieve back in the days. What was Tom Grieve like?
One of the best roommates I've ever had, and one of the best teammates I've ever had. I've always been a Tom Grieve fan. I liked it when I first met him. I liked him when I worked for him, and so when you like somebody after you work for him, he's a pretty good guy.
Now, you are a roving hitting coordinator with the Detroit Tigers. You live in the Fort Worth area, but you got to be impressed with this Ranger team right now.
Oh, it's pin of fever here in July. My golly, they're playing great. I'm happy for them. The Ranger fans, it's nice to see a winning ball club out here for them. They deserve it.
It's good to see you, Toby.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the night. Thank you. Josh.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Toby. I know you enjoyed hanging with Toby yesterday and today.
Yeah, we started out together. Toby was probably 20, maybe 21. Toby might have been a half a year younger when we went to spring training for the first time.
Hunter's going to bang one into right center field. Nelly Cruz with a bobble, a couple of bobbles. And Hunter steamrolls into second base. He just never could get a handle on it. That'll be a single and an E9. So the Angels threatened for the first time. We mentioned they didn't get a runner in a scoring position at all yesterday, and now tonight, right here, they've got two.
Well, the inning started with what might have been a double for Ibar, turned into an out by Josh Hamilton, and that's fortunate because now after the walk, the single, and the error, it's second and third, but Scott still has 2 outs and can pitch out of the inning.
Facing Matsui, and each of his last 4 hits have gone for extra bases.
I want to thank Carol Duff and Patricia Greer for the nice card that they sent up too. Thank you, ladies. Fastball by Scott gets ahead in the count.
He got Matsui to line to right. Second inning. The Angels have won just 3 of their last 13 games here in Arlington. Didn't used to be that way. There was a time not too long ago they'd come in here and do whatever they wanted to. The Angels now are only 3 games over 500. They're 51-48 with a 7-12 July. Matsui pops it up.
Another good fastball, jammed him.
Now Josh Hamilton's recovery, something that obviously Ranger fans know he's famous for. But we're talking about a recovery on defense made quite quickly to preserve a 0-0 game. It was a 1-0 final last night. We'll get you to our AT&T trivia question right now. The former Ranger manager who said baseball has been good to me since I quit trying to play it. And so coming up real soon, this is the Rangers Hall of Fame weekend, also the Baseball Hall of Fame weekend. Cooperstown is all abuzz. Michael Young is going to send one towards second. Irvin Santana tonight. Joe Saunders last night, Tom. The Angels, no shortage of good pitching after Jared Weaver so far.
No, those guys can pitch. We won't see Joel Pinheiro in this series. He pitched the day before the Angels got here, but he's off to a really good start for the Angels. He's 10-7 with a solid ERA, giving them innings and quality. Their rotation, if the Angels continue to be a contender and stay in the race, and there's no reason to think they won't, I think the main reason will be their starting pitching.
Well, the Angels do have the most innings out of their starting rotation of any team in the major leagues. And that kind of masks what has been a downer for them, which has been their bullpen. An unusual thing to say, because for years, I mean, like 8 in a row before these last couple of years, that was about the best thing they had.
And they'll be getting Scott Kazmir back at some point in time to be their 5th starter. And 1 through 5, I think that gives them depth and quality that puts them in the top echelon of starting pitching. And Santana, when he's on, is right at the top. He's a top of the rotation guy. His last 2 starts, he's thrown 15 innings and given up 2 earned runs.
We mentioned a couple of years ago what a solid season he had. 214 strikeouts, most by an Angels righty since Nolan Ryan.
Sometimes he gets knocked around and you watch his stuff and you just don't know how it's happening.
Kinsler's going to take a walk. Well, it's funny, he came up, Tom, for the very first time, and the first 4 hitters he faced in his big league career, it went triple, double, single, homer. He had allowed to cycle 4 batters into his major league career. And
welcome to the big leagues.
Yeah, and he did kind of keep taking his lumps for a while. Then he got good, then he got bad, then he got good, then he got bad, and now he's just kind of evened out, it looks like, as a guy that is going to post an ERA in the 3s somewhere every year. And facing his former teammate Vlad Guerrero, who he buzzed a little bit back there in the 2nd. Now, Vladdy, it's strange to report this one, Tag, but he hasn't driven in a run in a while. It's been, including tonight, 8 games.
Well, he's gone through a couple of games now where he has swung the bat in a way that I don't think we've seen before, where he's actually missed some fastballs that were strikes.
Hits that one hard. It's vacuumed up by Cayasco. Gets the one there and on to first for the double play. So Vladdy still not quite right over the last week or so, but the pitching has been spot on for the Rangers. That's the case tonight. No score at the end of 4. On this, the Hall of Fame weekend in Cooperstown, the former Ranger manager who said baseball has been good to me since I stopped playing it. And he is going to the Hall of Fame. Deservedly so. The White Rat, Whitey Herzog, and managed some interesting Ranger teams here in the early to mid 1970s, but then on to the Cardinals and the Royals, where he got to World Series. And Whitey Ball was established in St. Louis, and what a great baseball ambassador, too.
Now, Whitey, when he managed the Rangers, had been like a player personnel guy with the Mets, very successful in bringing good quality young players to the Mets. He was hired to manage the Rangers, and I think given the marching orders to help us acquire good young players and build for the future. And he made some trades to acquire some good young arms. He was building for the future. Nice ground ball back to Scott for an easy out. And, you know, the plan was just beginning, and there was no way we were going to be a good team for a couple of years. But before he ever had a chance to even come close to implementing his plan and enjoying success, Billy Martin got fired. Bob Short, the owner, decided, I've got to have Billy Martin. Fired Whitey Herzog, abandoned the building plan, and Billy came in and was very successful. We were a really good team for a couple of years, and then we kind of faded away. So if you like the short fix, Billy was great. If you looked long term, it was a shame that Whitey wasn't allowed to stay and continue doing what he was doing. Based on what happened after he left here, you have to think that the Rangers would have been a very, very successful franchise over a long period of time if they were able to keep Whitey Herzog.
Want to know the count to Mike Napoli. When Bob Short dismissed Whitey Herzog at the press conference, he pointed to the, quote, artistic state of the Rangers. And supposedly at the press conference, the legendary Harold McKinney shouted, artistic state of the Rangers. Whitey's not the one who rounded up Rico Cardi and Mike Epstein to be the heart of the batting order. Artistic state of the Rangers.
Well, you know, I can see the reporters acting like that and talking like that. Whitey was incredibly popular with the media because he was honest, he was funny, he'd have a beer with him after a ball game. He was a great quote, and I think they respected what he was trying to do with the ball club. They did not want to see Whitey Herzog leave. They loved him.
Well, when he got to the Cardinals, he also wanted to be the GM so that he'd be literally responsible for the whole kit and caboodle. And the team that he put together, bringing in Ozzie Smith and all that, that's the team that went on and did so many great things.
And I think he's one of the few managers that has been equipped to be a superior manager on the field and a quality general manager off the field. That's the kind of talent he had. He knew the game, he managed people, and he was he had a keen eye for talent.
On 2-2 to Mike Napoli, a hot hitter of late. Bounces it along to Mike Leung with a backhand stop.
Another good fastball in. He jammed Matsui to end the fourth inning. He jammed Napoli with that fastball for the second out in the fifth.
Feldman, remember, had allowed 3 home runs in his 5 innings in Detroit last time out. The ball was just flying against him. And, you know, let's face it, Tag, his opponent's batting average the last 6 games coming into tonight was in the 340s. He was simply being hit hard. But tonight, there's not a lot of solid contact.
I'm sure Scott went out to the bullpen today saying, okay, it's time for me to put up some numbers tonight. You know, he knows Rich Harden's coming back. He knows Derek Holland's coming back. He knows he hasn't been pitching very well. And he knows he's got to go out there and start to throw the ball the way he can, not do something that he's not capable of doing. Just go out and be Scott Feldman. Throw the ball the way you can.
Yeah, 17-game winner, not 4 years ago. We're talking last year.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like you're hoping for a miracle here. You just want to see Scott return to form. And, you know, you got to go through some down periods sometimes. This has lasted longer than Scott would like, but there's still a long time left and a lot of exciting baseball where he can redeem himself and be a big part of the rotation.
What's the saying? All sunshine and no rain makes a desert, or something like that. You gotta mix in a little bit of each.
Yeah, and I think Scott's had enough of the one kind he's been through this year. He's looking for some sunshine.
Yeah. Upstairs to Mathis. The count goes to 3-1. But a much better tempo tonight. And again, he's attacking much the way that the Cliff Lees and C.J. Wilsons and Tommy Hunters have done. Towards left, and Josh Hamilton back to the track, looking up, off the top of the wall and out. Like a field goal hitting the crossbar and bouncing over. Jeff Mathis, only his third all year. And the Angels grab the lead 1-0.
Well, another inch toward the field, and that ball bounces back to Josh for a 2-out double. Instead, it had the extra inch, and it bounced into the stands.
That's one that had a lot of the plate. Oh, right off the top of that wall and over. And the last 2 nights now, Tag, all we've seen is a couple of solo homers. One from Michael Young and now one from Jeff Mathis.
Yep. It's been tough to hit in this series. There's been some good pitching.
Willett's going to take a swipe at one, dump it into right. And Feldman, who had been cruising, now allows a 2-out homer and a 2-out single to the bottom 2 guys in the order. Mike Maddox will make his first appearance tonight.
Now you got Matsui to end the 4th inning with men on 2nd and 3rd. Pitched out of a little bit of a jam. He's given up the home run and a single, but not that much damage done if you can get Ibar right here.
The Stretch Drive season ticket plan, you can catch 3 games against the Red Sox, 5 against the Yankees. Our weekend matchups against the Angels and the A's, you save up to 43%. Your last chance to guarantee your option to buy seats for postseason action, too, if there is indeed such a thing. 972 Rangers, the phone number, TexasRangers.com, the website. A warm but beautiful night in North Texas tonight under what looks like a full moon. Looks pretty round. I'm going with full moon.
I'll agree with that.
Thank you, Tag.
Might have a little bit of room to round out on the left side, but that's pretty full. That's quibbling.
It's really quibbling. Here is Ibar, top of the order. Feldman will chase back Willits, who doesn't play a lot, but when he does play, he's the guy that likes to run. The Angels as a team for years have been a team that likes to run that fast break for Mike Scioscia. In the bottom of the 5th, by the way, Josh Hamilton will lead it off. Hamilton having the MVP kind of year right now, leading the majors in batting average, 3rd in home runs. And he reminded us tonight of his all-star caliber defense. Looking for the outside corner, didn't get it.
Benji thought it got it because he held his glove there for about 5 seconds just to make sure that the umpire, Sam Holberg, got a good look at it. And it was a little bit outside. Good call.
One of the most reasonable pitch counts that Feldman's had in a long time. He's at 65 right now, almost through the 5th inning.
Well, what the starting pitching has done the last 4 days is just really give the Rangers bullpen a well-deserved and much-needed rest. The only guys that have pitched out there, Doug Mathis has pitched an inning a couple of times. Felice has pitched 2/3 and an inning to get 2 saves. And Darren Oliver pitched an inning in Detroit. Other than that, O'Day, Ogando, Francisco haven't pitched.
Now, there are a fleet of Maytag repairmen out there right now.
They're well rested. It's nice to have that. Matt Harrison, of course, threw 80 pitches in relief and got the win in that extra inning game in Detroit. He's now had 4 days, so he's very ready to go. Won't need a long man tonight the way Scott's going, it looks like.
Feldman hasn't won at home since May the 20th. Pitching well enough to do so tonight, but he trails 1-0. Ibar smokes it over a leaping Davis, and it goes right into the corner.
Gotta get it in quick.
Nelly Cruz will pick it up. They're waving him around. Willits to the plate. Kinsler with the throw. Too late, and all the way to third goes Ibar. And Ibar just continues to get big hits against the Rangers.
Well, he gets all kinds of hits, too. You're very comfortable watching him get little infield hits, but that time, that was a rope. Ends up probably going for a triple. If they didn't get the guy at the plate, they wouldn't have got him going to third, probably.
That is scored a triple straight up for Ibar. He is pesky, boy. Like Sean Figgins Part 2.
Okay, he's actually having a better year than Figgins. I haven't noticed what Figgins has been doing the last couple of weeks, but he got off to a slow start.
Other than getting in a dust-ups in the dugout?
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, yesterday. A little bit of pushing and a shoving.
Oh, boy.
Not a fun year in Seattle. The Milton Bradley mess earlier this year. Ken Griffey Jr.'s kind of awkward retirement. Cliff Lee now being a Ranger. His Torres swings and fouls it. And the Rangers will get action in the bullpen now. And Feldman starting to wobble here in the fifth. Matt Harrison has started to loosen. In the air, right field, Cruz on the move, and he's got it. So the Angels end up with two in the top of the fifth. Hamilton and Cruz to bat when we return. Friends and family, two very important components in the life of Tom Grieve. And what a great shot right there. Michael Young watching intently. And once again, our congratulations from this booth, from this crowd, from this metro population of several million people who all know the name Tom Grieve.
Thank you.
Josh Hamilton will nail one out of play. The bottom of the 5th inning begins. Is your heart beating a little bit down there on the field?
It was great. It was great. Yeah, coming in on the car, I've obviously never experienced anything like that before. I've watched a lot of people come in and been down there and inducted a couple of the guys myself. But
Hamilton walloping one out there to center, but there's the very cool customer, Torrey Hunter.
But coming in the car yourself is a little bit overwhelming.
You got to high-five the players going by, too.
Yeah,
what were they saying to you?
They're just all smiling and saying congratulations, and you know that means a lot when you're down there and you look over and you see the players on the current team all there watching and listening. I told them during my speech how much I appreciate that, how much it meant to me, and how much I enjoy every day being around these guys. It's such a good group of guys. There's not really a bad apple in the whole group. And it really is a joy to be around them. I know you feel the same way. It's a good team, not just on the field, but it's a great group of guys. So to see them out there made me feel good.
It does make our jobs easier. I think it makes the fans' jobs easier when you get behind the guys, not just as players, but as people.
Yeah, they're easy to like. Fans are going, that's a balk. That's a balk.
Except for one important thing.
There's no one on base.
There's no one on base. So the invisible man can move up from second to third, but with Hamilton and Cruz batting this inning, showing you your Ford leaderboard. This is since the All-Star break. Only Gordon Beckham better than Cruz and Hamilton. Now, after that last aborted mission pitch right there from Santana, there was some concern. Everybody came out. Mike Scioscia came out with some of the training staff. Those guys just now back to the dugout.
Well, Josh, when they showed that list right there, to me, the interesting name on that was the last name, Delman Young. Because for the last couple of years, we've all been talking about that trade, Delman Young to Minnesota for Matt Garza. And Matt Garza's pitched like a top-of-the-rotation guy, and Delman Young has struggled a little bit. But as with young players, you have to remember how young Delman was during that trade, and the fact right now he's probably only 24 years old. And interestingly enough, he's 5th in the league right now with 70 RBIs.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, so he may be starting to fulfill the other side of that trade in a way that might make it look like Minnesota got the best out of that deal.
You mean you can't judge trades right away?
No, but we all do it. You know, you tend to do it year by year, but that one's turning the corner toward Minnesota now.
On appeal, Nelson Cruz is told he's out. Irvin Santana very quietly here. Tag is working on a one-hitter.
Well, I'm not surprised watching him throw tonight. He's got an above-average fastball, got a really good slider, making a lot of good pitches. Again, the Angels have 4 pitchers who, in fact, Casimir, really, if he's healthy and throwing the ball well, they've got 5 pitchers. They're all top-of-the-rotation guys. There's no 5th starters in that group.
And that's why, again, you don't dismiss them, even though they are 7 games back. And they're not playing their best baseball overall right now, 7-12 in July. But with that kind of pitching and some bats that, could still get hot for him. Matsui's only hitting .245. They just brought in Kayaspo, who was a .300 hitter last year. Molina, the former Angel, a base hit into center. And Chris Davis can come up with a chance to tie the game. He just about hit one out in the 3rd inning.
Well, the way he's pitching, it really looks like it's going to be hard to string together 4 or 5 hits and have that kind of a rally. It may be that the Rangers have to rely on the home run to get back in this game. A quick strike attack.
Well, I mentioned earlier, Davis with 2 homers in now 12 career at-bats against Santana. And still looking for his first Ranger homer of 2010. He's got 2 stolen bases, but no homers.
He's hit a couple of line drives near the wall in this series. Just has to get underneath one a little bit more.
Again, a very still night at the ballpark tonight. They list the official wind situation here at 2 miles per hour. It doesn't even look like 2 if you look at the flags.
Not according to the flags.
See all the fans fanning themselves with whatever they have. Davis lines one foul. And when Davis batted in the third, again, came close to taking it out. And Santana drops one down on him. His second strikeout of the inning. His fourth of the game. The Rangers strand Molina, and at the end of 5, they trail by 2. By your Texas Chevy dealers, proud sponsor of Texas baseball, and by 5 Hour Energy. Hour of Energy now, no 2:30 feeling later. .91 degrees under a now confirmed full moon in North Texas. The Rangers trail 2-0 with the 2 runs coming in the top of the 5th, both with 2 out. Jeff Mathis hit a wall-scraping home run. And then after a single by Reggie Willits, a triple by Eric Ibar. The Rangers have been 2 hit tonight by Irvin Santana. I think a very important inning right here, Tag, for Mr. Scott Feldman, facing 3, 4, 5 in the order.
Yeah, because the way Santana's throwing the ball, you just really don't feel comfortable giving up more than what you've given up, which is 2 runs. And a lot of nights, we'd be sitting here talking about what a great game Scott's pitching. He's got a chance to win a ball game. On most nights, the Rangers are going to score 4, 5, 6 runs in this ballpark. But Santana's shutting them down, and the 2 runs looks like a big lead right now for the Angels. But I think Scott's throwing the ball well.
And Abreu, who almost never swings at the first pitch, just did it, grounded out. We go to Jim Knox.
All right, thanks, Josh. Look who we have here. Charlie Huff, former Ranger, great pitcher. He pitched here 10.5 years. All in all, in the bigs, 25 years, 216 wins. Unbelievable. What's it like coming back Hall of Fame weekend for you?
This is really big. Really big. To see the Ranger fans out like this, Rangers up 6-7 games, a little different than when I played here, and I just love it.
Now you're with the Dodger organization, but looking back, what's your fondest memory pitching here 10.5 years?
Oh, you know, I think maybe the first year Bobby Valentine came in, we almost got a division. I think we missed by a couple. And then right towards the end of my career here, when Nolan came in, it changed this ball club, gave us some credibility, and we were a real team then.
That's excellent. Charlie, good seeing you. Enjoy the rest of the game. Appreciate the time.
The Rangers' career leader in wins, 139 of them. Thank you very much, Jim. There's a base hit for Torrey Hunter. And he's now 2 for 3. Charlie, 11 years as a Ranger, wearing that familiar number 49.
Yeah, I think in all the time Charlie was here, in all the interviews he did, and all the articles written about him, hardly ever saw him say the wrong thing. He was very well spoken. He was always a team player. And I don't think you ever had to worry about opening up your newspaper and worrying about what Charlie Huff said.
Although he was funny sometimes when they asked him that one time if when the guys used to throw the football before games, he was asked if that helped the Ranger pitchers. It was Charlie who said, I don't know, but we do lead the league in third down conversions. Infield a double play depth, Matsui taking outside.
Reporters like to tell the story of interviewing him after a game, and he was riding a stationary bike and sipping a glass of vodka on the rocks.
Not something you would see C.J. Wilson do.
Probably
by the way.
not.
No, C.J. has never touched a drop of alcohol in his life, he says. And the way he takes care of himself is keyed in on nutrition and all of that.
I saw someone ask John Daniels a question, are you worried about CJ's innings this year? He's never thrown this many innings. And he said, yeah, it's something that they're watching and monitoring, and then listed all the reasons why you don't worry about it. The condition that he's in, what he puts in his body, the pride that he takes in being in great shape, the fact that he's 29 years old, he's not 21 years old. And I agree with all those reasons. I don't see any reason, especially since CJ is going to get an extra day rest here and there, why he won't be strong in September. He takes too good care of himself not to be.
Hunter not quite the base stealing threat he used to be at 35 years old, but you still got to keep an eye on him. Use that Angel base runner with one out. And last year's World Series MVP at the plate, Hideki Matsui. Well, so far, this series between the Rangers and the Angels for the year, Tom, 6 of the 7 games, as you said yesterday, have been decided by just one run.
Yeah.
And the other one was decided by 2. Tonight it is 2-0. The Angels out hitting the Rangers 6-2. When Feldman faced the Angels earlier this month, actually towards the end of June, I was out there in Anaheim. He was very strong through 5, and then everything kind of fell apart on him in the 6th. Started beautifully tonight, 9 up, 9 down. Matsui ramming one into right center. Nelly Cruz is over to cut it off. He'll scoop it and get it back in. It's going to be first and third. And Callaspo coming up. Now Callaspo only 1 out of 13 lifetime against Feldman. The last 7 times he's batted against him, he's hit a ground ball. And even though I'm sure Ron Washington is considering making a move here, that is the other side of the coin right there. Feldman could get the ground ball. However, Ron loves what he's got in the bullpen. You really can't lose whatever you decide. The important thing is to find a way to keep it at 2-0. So again, Feldman against the Angels is able to get into the 6th but not out of the 6th. And the call goes to Alexei Ogando. See if he can get the double play or at least a strikeout. Back in just a moment. we get back to action, we go to Rick Renner.
Hey, Josh, want to remind everybody to check out the website at foxsportssouthwest.com. The Dallas Cowboys open up training camp in the Alamo City. A major injury, but it wasn't on the football field. Find out what happened to Martellus Bennett. Plus, we got talk about the Rangers possibly making another trade before the deadline. And Big 12 Media Days kick off on Monday. We are all over it. We have programming to go around your favorite teams. OU Sooners are picked to be #1 in the South. Nebraska #1 in the North. Texas #2 and A&M #3. A&M with the most first-team guys on the preseason bout. I'll kick it back up to you guys. Plus more stuff on the Hall of Fame induction of one Tom Grieve. Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
Our Verizon Wireless call to the bullpen. It is Alexei Ogando inheriting first and third and just one out. A well-rested Ranger bullpen tag, as you've been talking about tonight.
Yeah, it should be very well rested. In fact, it's to the point where some of them probably need to get into a game to stay sharp. That's a nice problem to have in your bullpen.
Remember how for a while it looked like the Rangers were going to put 4 guys in the top 5 in terms of appearances in the AL. Cayaspo guides it into center, and that run's going to be charged to Feldman. 3-0 Angels now. Just brought in yesterday in that trade with Kansas City. Cayaspo gets his second hit as an Angel and bumps that Halos lead to 3.
He's going to hit a slider, and it's right down the middle of the plate. He's got a 97-mile-an-hour fastball that you can throw anytime. He's got a good slider, too, but Cayaspo's a good hitter, and that's just not a problem with the pitch, just a problem with the location of the pitch. Caught the center of the plate.
3 straight singles for the Angels, something they were very famous for when they were winning that World Series in '02. Napoli, getting all kinds of playing time this year, is leading the Angels with those 18 home runs. Molina, the former Angel, part of that World Series 8 years ago, out to talk to Ogando. All through that postseason in the '02 season, they were having 6, 7, 8 hit innings. They even had a couple of 10-hit innings. One of them where it was 9 singles. And they would just keep on going and going and going. That's the culture that they were all about. And that kind of continued all the way until very recently, where they would just stack a bunch of walks and singles all together in a row. And before you knew it, you were way too far behind. 1-2 to Napoli.
That breaking ball worked just like a changeup after 96-mile-an-hour heat. The 80-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch had Napoli way out in front.
Mike Scioscia is a veteran, obviously, of a lot of playoff baseball and what it takes to get there. Our Geico quote, he says, "A pennant race is a grind. You've got to find a way to play this game free," he says. Don't get all tensed up, just as well, as is the case with his team. You're 7 games out.
Yeah, and he would know. He's played in pennant races. He's managed in pennant races. And I agree 100% with what he said. The only problem is sometimes for guys in the middle of a pennant race, it's not that easy to play free. There's a lot of tension. There's a lot of pressure. But really, to play at your best, you need to be relaxed and play that way. He's exactly right. He's also a great manager.
Signed through 2015 with an option to go to 2018. Napoli has worked the count full. Been a long top of the 6th. Started by Scott Feldman. Now Ogando on in place. Rifled foul. Right back to the net by Napoli. And again, the Angels, traditionally a second-half team. We ran that stat out there the other night. Since 2007, only the Yankees have been better post-All-Star break. As we've been talking about with Mike Scioscia, right on down through the ranks. They know what it takes. They will not roll over and let the Rangers run away, you don't figure. Another foul by Napoli.
He's hanging in there. Napoli tends to strike out a little bit, but I think Ogando's throwing some pitches that have the potential to strike a hitter out with anyway, and he's fouled him off.
A 9-pitch AB to a guy who's been a real hot hitter of late. And another foul. These fans still waiting for something to really shout about. And again, on just a very still and warm night, you see so many of the fans here with the programs and whatever else they can find to do exactly that. Just try to keep cool. We're going to get you one of those huge leaves, you know, like from Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, you're a Hall of Famer now. You get a huge leaf.
No special treatment. Right back to being, well, I can't mention what we're called.
Overpaid?
No.
Good.
Media terms that we refer to ourselves as.
3-2 again. Another foul ball from Mike Napoli. Another nice play by the ball girl, too.
Well, one thing for sure, we've got, as I've said many times, you've said many times, the best fielding ball girls in the league.
They don't give you bonus points for that, but it's just something nice to have. You can brag about it.
Our girls can play.
Pitch number 11 about to come to Napoli.
Not the kind of guy you'd expect to have an 11 pitch at bat.
How about 12? How are you on 12?
I'm okay with 12. No. Just 11. something about 11.
Got to be frustrating for Ogando. Fastballs and sliders, and Napoli's on everything here. Well, 10 and 11 were like right down the middle.
Yeah,
too.
he actually, the last two he missed were actually perfect pitches to hit. So he hasn't really caught up with some good pitches to hit.
Taken for a called third strike. That's 96-mile-an-hour gas right there. Ogando's just like, here. If you foul this one off, we'll talk about it later. But meantime, here's 96 for you. Perfectly placed to finally get him.
That might have been a foul tip. Nope, by that look, I think that was a called strike, and Mike's not happy with it.
The many faces of Mike Scioscia. That's the disillusioned Mike Scioscia. We've seen the "you got to be kidding me" with that call, Mike Scioscia, a couple times. Mathis, the hitter, he grazed the top of the wall and left, and it went for a home run last time up. There's that dial-down slider again by Ogando. Mathis started out real well this year, hitting .324 in April. He's been at about $180 since. But his was the home run that got the scoring started tonight. It's now the Angels by 3. On the ground, Michael Young will smother it. Spin. Go to Kinsler and get the out. And he will bat coming up in the bottom of the sixth. The Rangers have some work to do. Trailing 3-0. Time for the Sonic Slam inning, brought to you by Sonic and the jackpot worth $1,500 and dinner for two at Sonic. Good luck to Joe Dupree of Athens, Texas. If a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, we're giving away $25,000. You can register at just about any North Texas Sonic restaurant. The Rangers are in danger here, Tom, of being shut out at home by Urban Santana in each of his last two starts here. He won 11-0 here last September. He's up 3-0 tonight. And really, the Rangers don't have all that many, what you'd call quality at-bats against him so far.
No, and that's a credit to him, because you know the Rangers can hit. But on any given night, when you face a top pitcher with his top stuff, it doesn't matter how good your hitters are. You're going to have a struggle. And so far, that's what it's been. Good thing is it's only 3-0. And there's plenty of time to string together some hits and maybe get that long ball.
Julio Bourbon trying to get going. He has 14 for his last 71. That's under 200 for the last 4 weeks. Came so close to getting that batting average to 300. Now he's down to 271. And obviously his job very simple here. And same thing as when he was actually the leadoff man to start the season. Got to find a way on base. The bunt has been a weapon more and more.
Another one of the quality pitches that Santana has, a changeup.
The other weapon you'd love to see Bourbon put to use is the walk. He's walked only a dozen times this year. See the two lefties up now, Harrison and Oliver.
And that's probably depends on what happens this inning. If the Rangers score a couple of runs, maybe score 2 or 3 runs, maybe Darren comes in his role of setup relief. If it's still 3-0, maybe Matt comes in.
Santana has struck out 3 of the last 4 hitters. Rangers have a single from Benji Molina, a double from Chris Davis, and that's it.
I think in this game, if I were a hitter, I would be hoping to get a good fastball to hit and not waste my chance to hit it, because his off-speed pitches have been so good tonight.
The slider really came around a couple of years ago. He stopped throwing his curve and lightened up on the changeups too. Just kind of became a fastball slider guy, and it really worked. Santana's one of those guys, Tom, that when he signed his first professional contract, he was at 140 pounds. Now he was obviously filled out since then. He's at around 190, and he can bring it. Andrews serves it to right, towards the corner, and caught by Bobby Abreu. 2 down. Now, Michael Young has been the fire starter in this series. He'll come up right here trying to get the Rangers moving. And the batting average right at 300 on the button right now. Marching towards another 200 hit season. And as always with Michael Young, Mac and I were talking about this earlier, Tom. It is just a very steady march. It's not a lot of fits and spurts, hot streaks and cold streaks. That's down too low, and yeah, like you said, maybe waiting for that fastball that he can drive. Just kind of laying off the slider.
Well, if you can lay off it, it's probably a pretty good idea. Many of them are out of the strike zone, but they break so sharply they're hard to lay off of.
Michael can be classified as a fastball hitter, I suppose. That OPS stat, the on-base plus slugging percentage last year against fastballs, was higher than that of Alex Rodriguez, higher than Mark Teixeira's. Ramming that one into left center field and deep. He has done it again!
Santana got behind in the count and threw a fastball and looked right down the middle of the plate. And Michael may miss no time jumping on that one. We have a winner.
1,500 out there to Athens, Texas, and again, get that fastball that you like. Michael's in the kind of groove right now where he's going to do something of value with it. He has homered in all 3 games of the series.
Well, that's the one. You get a fastball down the middle of the plate against Santana. That's the one you have to hit. If you miss that one, you might not see another good one to hit. Trying to throw it away. Gets it right inside to the middle of the plate. Long place. That's where one of the other home runs Michael hit was.
13 of his 15 home runs now this year have been right here in Arlington. And no, it was not wind aided, it was not jet streamed, it was just crushed. Kinsler smokes one foul.
Yeah, he's hung a couple of pitches to Ian right there. Both times he's hung the slider.
For Michael Young now, Tom, that's 8 homers in his last 30 games. That's more than he had in his first 67 games.
That third pitch was hanger right down the middle of the plate. That was not a hanger.
No swing.
Well, unfortunately, he was able to hold up on it. I would say Ian is probably the best on the team at being able to hold up on a close pitch. Has really good back control. He starts, but he stops in time.
Kinsler twisting out of the way. Vlad Guerrero's on deck. And the crowd is awake. Big sellout standing room only crowd in Arlington tonight. Kinsler trying to hold up. He did. He's on. And Vladdy's coming up.
Well, that's a good at bat because not many guys have been laying off that last hard slider. 3-2. That strikes out, I'd say, more than half the players in the league. Probably way more than half. But Ian is able to go for it, check his swing, and take the walk. Excellent back control. And now one swing of the bat, and that home run could tie the game. Who's your Vladdy?
The Angels won a lot with Vlad Guerrero. The Rangers now have scooped him up, and they're trying to beat L.A. with Vlad Guerrero. Kinsler goes. The throw down is not in time.
Well, Ron Washington, Ian Kinsler are saying we're not content to just wait for the home run. In case Vladdy gets a single, we want to be in a position to score the second run.
On the ground, left side. Kinsler goes to third. But that's where it ends. The Rangers do get a run. Michael Young, for the first time in 6 years now, has homered in 3 straight games. 3-1 Angels as we go to the 7th. In Texas and by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag. It's on. It's a sellout tonight in Arlington, 47,098. They've seen Michael Young homer for a 3rd consecutive ball game. He's now got 15 for the year. And the Rangers now need to keep the Angels down to what they've got, which is 3. Darren Oliver, the former Angel, one of many former Angels that are coming back to haunt the Angels here in 2010. You look at what Vlad Guerrero has done. You can talk about this D.O., the other D.O., Darren O'Day, and that guy, Benji Molina. And Vladdy was induced to hit one on the ground as a tying man just moments ago. First time in a long time, Tom, he's just not driving the ball. 3 for his last 26.
Yeah, and it just goes to show even the greatest of hitters go through a cold spell. The good thing is Vladdy's almost through it right now, and it's just a matter of time before he gets hot again. Great hitters don't stay in those slumps as long as the rest of us do.
Willits in the air, left center field. Boy, he's been a menace these last couple of nights. The native Oklahoman. Always has friends and family here watching him play in Arlington.
Yeah, Willits got the start tonight over Juan Rivera.
Rivera, yeah.
Having a good night.
And Rivera held out because against the starter, Scott Feldman. Rivera just 3 out of 20 and probably was due for a night off anyway. It seemed to be the right night.
If you're going to give him a rest, you might as well do it against a pitcher he has struggled against.
Top of the order now, Ibar. And he's bunting. It's going to spin foul. One of the very few nights that didn't go well for Darren Oliver this year, Tom, was against the Angels last time he faced the Angels. That, too, was in relief of Scott Feldman, where he walked a couple and gave up the big double with the bases loaded to Bobby Abreu. But that has been the exception, not the rule this year. A fantastic year at the age of 39. He will turn 40 on the day that Game 2 of the American League Division Series is scheduled. Just saying. Darren did some unreal work for these Angels the last 3 years, going 15-3. ERA of 3. And this year the ERA is half of that. On the ground, Davis can't get it. It's going to skip on into right. Willits on his way to third. Nelly Cruz with a throw is going to be cut off. Runners at the corners, an 0-2 base hit for the newly minted mosquito of these Angels. A guy that just from the top of the order or bottom of the order just drives you crazy. Eric Ibar.
Yeah, Willits and Ibar combined for 5 hits. Ibar had a triple to drive in a run. Willits had a single and scored a run. In fact, scored on Ibar's triple. Just out of the way, out of the reach of Chris Davis. Willits all the way, hustling into third base, not pausing at all.
Great speed on the bases here. A contact hitter in his tourist at the plate. He'll take a strike. Ten hits for the Angels tonight. They had had only 9 in the first 2 games of the series combined, which is weird because in that 2-game series they played in New York, Tag, they had 29 hits. They were clobbering the ball against the Yankees. Then they ran into the 2 lefties in the first 2 games of this series. Cliff Lee shut him down. C.J. Wilson shut him down.
Yep, that's what good pitching will do to you.
Tossing over. These Angels, again, they're not playing at their very best level in this month of July, but they just always seem to find a way under Mike Scioscia to lock it down, get it right when it matters. The Rangers are 10-10 in July. But that followed a 21-6 month of June. And it's so much built up from what happened in June, especially that long National League road trip where they just couldn't lose. Another one that just spins on in right. We talked about this earlier. In fact, in the 6th inning when they had the 3 straight singles, the Angels, kind of the old school Angels from a few years ago. I don't know how old that is, but when they were really at the top of their game, and Darren Oliver knows all about it, It's not a bunch of home runs. It's a bunch of singles.
Yeah, there's not much you can do about those last 2 hits. They're just ground balls that found a hole on the right side.
Well, Bobby Abreu is going to bat, and we mentioned that he had the key hit against Aaron Oliver about 3 weeks ago back in Anaheim. We should mention tomorrow the game is at 7:05. Tommy Hunter goes to the mound for the Rangers. He'll look to go to 8-0. He's already become the first Rangers starter to begin at 7-0. Now he's going to try to take that to 8-0. His ERA is 2.09. And Trevor Bell is going to step in and make a start for the Angels because Scott Kazmir is not quite ready to come off the DL yet. The bunt from Abreu is fouled. And as for big game Hunter, all 280 pounds of him, trying to get to 8-0 against the Angels. And he owes the Angels a little bit. You know, Tommy is 16-6 in his big league career. 2 of those losses have been against the Halos right here. .705 first pitch on Fox Sports Southwest tomorrow.
Well, they'll see a little bit of a different version of Tommy Hunter. At least based on the way he's pitched the last couple of times.
Another one that barely escapes Chris Davis. Ball girl has to hurdle. A run comes in. Abreu has doubled to right against Oliver again. And now it is 4 straight singles. Oh, I'm sorry. That one's a double.
Looked like a single the way it was hit.
Yeah, but he is in his second base. 23rd double of the year.
3 straight average ground balls, but each one of them has found a hole.
And this is that drip, drip, drip of the Angels that we were talking about. They're not banging baseballs off the wall. They're just kind of rolling baseballs softly into the outfield. They're going to go ahead and put on Hunter to get to Matsui. And Darren O'Day, another former Angel, getting ready. After the game tomorrow, the Rangers have the day off Monday, and the A's will slide on into town starting Tuesday. And we talked about this earlier too, Tag, that the A's with a win today are now tied in the loss column with these Angels. So it's not really correct to say anymore that it's a matter of the Rangers having to outdistance just one team from California. You got to worry about 2.
Yep. And, you know, you could say some of the same things about Oakland that you say about the Angels. They too have good starting pitching. At times they struggle to score runs, but the better your starting pitching, the fewer runs you have to score to win.
Bases loaded for Matsui. And he chips one into the crowd. Matsui's a lefty who hits lefties very well. And that's been the case for a while. But all throughout the postseason last year, there was Matsui getting it done. He was the World Series MVP. In a clinching game, he had a single, a double, a homer, 6 runs batted in. The only other 6 RBI World Series game from a Yankee was pretty famous. That was Bobby Richardson in 1960.
And this, I would think this would be Darren's last batter. Darren O'Day's throwing, probably needs some pitching today, and Darren's thrown 18 pitches. This will be 19 pitchers and hasn't gotten it out yet.
Going to get at least 1. Coming home, and Oliver wasn't covering at first base. Benji Molina just had to keep the ball, but they do get that first out of the inning. Cayaspo, a switch hitter, on his way to the plate. A little hesitation by Oliver. I don't know if they would have gotten Matsui anyway, but Molina had no chance to find out.
Might have been a throw anyway, though. Hard to say.
Well, again, Darren keeps getting ground balls. A nicely placed one here. Maybe the Rangers do turn two. Keep it at 5-1.
Cayaspo is a good hitter. Minor leagues, before he got to the big leagues, obviously he was a 300 hitter. He walked 229 times and struck out 145 times in the minor league. That's really amazing. He had his first year at AAA, 56 walks, 27 strikeouts. Wow. He walked twice as many times as he struck out his first year at AAA.
Came up in the Angels organization, and they spun him to Arizona, the Jason Bolger deal. So Mike Scioscia, everybody had already seen him. They knew all about him. And with a pressing need for a Sean Figgins type player, even though they've already got his tourists, some other guys that can play a lot of different roles, a guy like Cayaspo who can go to third. And we saw him last night pinball out to left when the need arose. Switch hitter. Just a really useful guy to have. Taking a strike.
Now, Ibar and his tourists can play any of the infield positions, so they do have a lot of versatility.
And Cayaspo, I mean, you don't think about it because he's only about 5'8", 5'9". He had more extra base hits last year than Torrey Hunter and Bobby Abreu did. Whacking that one into right center field. Bourbon gliding over, makes the catch, and he'll fire in towards Andrus. Sac fly, though. It becomes 6-1. Well, the last two outings for Darren Oliver against his former team, frankly, have been forgettable. This one was frustrating. There was an 0-2 ground ball single, that from Ibar. A couple other ground balls that just kind of escaped just beyond lunging fielders. But as they say, it is what it is. You got 3 runs in. A 6-1 lead for the Angels. We'll come back, tell you about the new Ranger pitcher in just a moment. Up to you. A lot of women, a lot of men, manly men like Larry, want to say, way to go. You're in the Hall of Fame. It's well deserved. It's well past time.
That's beautiful. Thank you, guys and girls.
Victor Sosa weighs in.
Thank you, Vic.
Double thumbs up.
Larry.
Steve Tennyson.
Steve, where are you? Thank you very much, buddy.
Standing O.
Dave, thank you.
Even the RoboCam.
Oh, wow. Now I know I've made it. Greg and Robert earlier. Thank you guys very much.
Well, from every Ranger fan, Tag, and I know you hate being embarrassed like this, but thank you for 43 years of integrity and service and being Mr. Ranger.
Thank you, Josh.
Darren O'Day to Mike Napoli. And Darren O'Day, who used to be with the Angels, and they cast him adrift to the Mets. The Mets let him go. And the Rangers happy to have lapped him up. He's in with an ERA of 1.40. And trying to hold the Angels down. They scored not at all yesterday. They lost 1-0. They're up 6-1 tonight. And Darren O'Day has worked 18 straight shutout innings, over 20 appearances now. That ERA has gone from 2.6 to 1.4. Begins 2-0 to Napoli, a guy that used to catch him a bit. 3-0. Again, we're seeing a lot of Napoli at first base with Kendry Morales out for the year. Did you see, Tag, that Mags Ordonez is going to miss 8 weeks?
No, I didn't.
Broke his right ankle today against Toronto.
Oh, boy.
So they're without Brandon Inge for 4 to 6. And it looks like
that's a bad few days for the Tigers to lose those two guys.
In the meantime, as you said earlier, the Twins getting all kinds of production from Delman Young. They're very much in the middle of everything in that Central. Everybody's still chasing Chicago, though. They lost to the A's today. Napoli hits it on the ground. Andrews to Kinsler, and finally the inning ends with 3 runs in. We get to the 7th inning stretch. The Rangers are down by 5. Recognize Jerry's Chevrolet. Their support of Weatherford Little League is appreciated. For information on Chevy's commitment to Youth League Baseball, go to ChevyTexasBaseball.com. Well, we got the big sellout crowd here tonight. Came to recognize Tom Grieve before the game as part of Alumni Weekend. Tag going into the Ranger Hall of Fame. Josh Hamilton is going to send one deep. Left center field. Hunter is back and makes the running catch. 1 pitch, 1 out, bottom 7. And Joshua had hit safely in 32 of his last 33 home games. Twice tonight, Tag has hit the ball real hard and pretty deep. But he's got an offer to show for it.
Yeah, there's days where you can roll some ground balls through the infield. And then there's days where you hit 2 line shots right at Torrey Hunter in center field, and he catches both of them.
The Rangers actually had the tying man up in the 6th inning. It was Vlad Guerrero. That's when it was 3-1. Kinsler had walked and stolen second, and the crowd got all frenzied with the possibility of a home run from Vlad. But it didn't happen, and now the Angels have scored 3 more times. Cruz has a hitting streak in some jeopardy here. Same with Kinsler's, by the way. Kinsler has walked twice but doesn't have a hit. So Kinsler is on pause at 16. Nelly Cruz has a career best 12 right now. But he was flied out and struck out.
Nelly's having a hard time getting his right foot comfortable in the batter's box.
Cruz smashing one to left. It is going to go. The hit streak's intact. Big time.
He looked pretty comfortable with that swing, though. That was a rocket.
Number 13 for Nelly. Remember, he hit 7 in the first week and a half of the season. Then he got hurt, came back, got hurt again. Oh, now he's really going.
That was a hanging slider, but almost the same spot in the strike zone as the fastball that Michael Young hit.
Benji Molina lofting one to right field. Doesn't quite have enough. The Rangers have scored twice tonight, both on solo homers, Young and now Cruz.
Didn't take that long to get out of the ballpark.
No.
Line shot. Those are the kind you'd like to see how far they'd go if he got them just a little bit higher.
There have been home runs off the windows of the restaurant out there in left field since this ballpark's been open. 16, 17 years now. I think Nelly could be a guy that actually puts one in that second deck.
Oh, yeah, I think so for sure.
I mean, the heck with the restaurant. Kid stuff for Nelly.
Well, we saw Josh hit one 490 to right center field. I think Nelly could come pretty close to that to left field.
These Cecil Fielder-esque home runs, ones that used to be up on top of the roof at Old Tiger Stadium. One and two to Davis now. Nine for 44 since coming up from AAA. Remember, he was the Rangers' opening day first baseman. Santana, despite a couple of mistakes, homer to Young, homer to Cruz, is in control here. 6-2, Angels at the end of 7.
during Angels batting practice today. You guys could have gone anywhere. They're still in the tuxedo and also wedding dress. Very nice. Why here at the ballpark?
Because whenever he gave me this beautiful ring, I thought the only thing I could do for him was to give him the perfect wedding. And he's a fanatic. And so I thought, well, better than the Rangers ball field.
There we go. 100 on hand. They have Ranger cupcakes. Here's the Progressive band there in the shirt, the hat. Congratulations. Let's hope for a Ranger comeback win tonight. Thanks, guys. Way to go.
Very nice.
That is a fan right there.
Beautiful diamond ring and a tote bag.
That's great.
Matt Harrison takes over on the mound. The Rangers, who really have not needed a lot of relief pitching at all of late, get their 5th pitcher of the night out there now. Harrison gives up a single to Jeff Mathis. Harrison, who began the year in the Ranger rotation and actually had a couple real strong efforts, has had a trip down to AAA. He's come back and re-emerging as a, well, I guess a lefty long man now for the Rangers out of that pen.
Yeah, and that long relief stint that he had in the extra inning game, that was huge for the Rangers on that road trip.
It's the last time that Scott Feldman had started before tonight, that game that ended up going 14 in Detroit. Reggie Willits pushing a bunt foul. Kind of like how Willits goes after it. He's got that kind of baggy uniform. He's got the high socks, chokes up on the bat a little bit. Just one of those gamers. We've told his story before. A guy that in Fort Cobb, Oklahoma, was kind of willed himself to get to where he wanted to get. Hard-working overachiever, like they used to have with David Eckstein. Molina down to second. Nice. Got the lead man.
Well, Benji threw that like a shortstop. No wasted motion and got something on it, too. What a nice play. Get that lead runner.
And again, with the injury now to Matt Traynor, we'll be seeing a little bit more of Benji Molina. Taylor Teagarden is up now to back him up. No, Willits, usually a guy that gets the bunt down successfully. He'll take over at first with one out. Strike one to Ibar. .289 for the season, about .370 against the Rangers. When he first came up, Tom, some scouts talked about him real early on as kind of the next generation Gary Templeton. Infielder with exceptional arm strength and range. He might have a little bit more pop than Gary Templeton ever had. Still kind of developing that last part of the game. Willits, his rookie year, ran a lot. When he was healthy, looked like he'd be a guy that would really not only emerge, but just become an everyday force for them. But 2008, a tough, injury-filled year for Reggie Willits. He had gallbladder surgery during spring training, and that kind of set the tone. There's your Jetsa strike zone. You can see that one could have been a strike, but was not called as such. Young in a bit at third. Harrison chasing Willits back. The Rangers in the bottom of the 8th inning will have 9-1-2 coming up. Looking for base runners to set up Kinsler, Guerrero, and Hamilton. Runner goes. Wave and a miss, and Benji Molina throws. The tag! Got him! Nice inning for Benji Molina.
Throw. That was not an easy pitch to catch and throw. He made the same kind of a throw that he made on the little bunt out in front of home plate. Just about a smooth sidearm shortstops type throw. The pitch is down in the dirt. He has to reach for it, throw around the hitter, and throw the runner out easily at second base. Those are two really good throws.
Did it for the Angels for many years. Now does it against him. Ibar takes outside. Slowly hit. And the way Ibar's worn out the Rangers, you half expected that to just kind of plop right down on the grass and stay.
He's had 3 hits in the game. That would have been 4.
Matt Harrison, you know, on a night like tonight, Tom, you're reminded that his commitment to getting into better shape this past winter is going to help. He dropped a cool 30 pounds this offseason. More cardio and less chocolate chip cookies, he told us.
Well, he's still really young, and that's a good age to figure that out at. He's got his whole career ahead of him. Some guys don't realize that until it's too late. Matt realized it very early in his career. It's tough to be as good as you can be if you're not in the best shape you can be in.
Ibar on for a 4th time. One more round of congrats for you, by the way, Mr. Grieve, from the fellas down in the truck. I do believe those are all thumbs. Carla Janeway had to take that picture, so she's not in it, but she did write congrats, Tom, on the monitor at 9:46 and 29 seconds.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Carla. We're all smiling now, but we won't be smiling in a couple of weeks when fantasy football starts.
Yep, then other digits will come out.
No, that's very nice. Thank you, guys and girls.
And now you know what the truck looks like.
Yeah. Those are the brains behind the scene that make our job easy.
The wind beneath our wings.
Yes, they are.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bette Midler. Here's Meiser's Tourist. 2 out. The runner at first base, again, a guy with speed. That's Ibar. Might give Molina something else to do this inning. Both outs in the inning recorded when Benji Molina has thrown down to second base. Once on a bunt, once on a steal attempt. Chuck Morgan would like to say something to you here too, Tom.
Thank you, Chuck. You're the best.
Strike to his Tourist. Yesterday, a 1-0 win for the Rangers. And the Angels never did get a man in a scoring position, but his last few innings now tonight, the Angels are kind of finding that stride that they had in New York. It'll be up to Tommy Hunter to shut him down tomorrow. Another big crowd expected, but there are tickets available. TexasRangers.com, 972 Rangers. It's also dog night tomorrow night. Get to see all those different dogs parading onto the field before the game. Hopefully just parading. .705 first pitch on Fox Sports Southwest tomorrow night. Benji Molina will have little to do with this one. Ian Kinsler is back on the grass. He'll make the catch. Harrison's out of the inning. Rangers need to get going. Down 6-2. big night at the ballpark tonight. Inclusion in the Rangers Hall of Fame. Sellout crowd finally settled in and watched Josh Hamilton ply his craft in left field. The recovery that he makes here,
look at that throw.
Spectacular. In the 5th inning, the Angels finally scored for the first time in 16 innings. That home run bouncing out off the bat of Mathis. Michael Young would add a homer for the Rangers. It is 6-2 right now. The Rangers trailing. Bourbon is going to find his way on base against Santana. The base hit to left. The Rangers need to get going real soon, no doubt. They need to get to that Angels bullpen, which has been in and out, to put it kindly, this year. Santana, a reasonable 88 pitches right now as he's into the 8th inning, but Bourbon is on. Andrews coming up.
Just sliced that blooper over third. A slick little play by Ivar to slide after that ball and get it back to second. Doesn't really make much sense for Bourbon to try to stretch that into a double down by 4 runs. Need base runners and big hits 4 or 5 at-bats from now.
For the first time, the Angel bullpen will begin to loosen. Santana's given Mike Scioscia no reason to believe that he couldn't get into the 8th inning, but now Fernando Rodney will grab a baseball and start getting ready.
Well, if you're Mike Scioscia, you've lost the first 2 games of the series, and you're going to use every guy you have to use to make sure you win this game. So if it means bringing Rodney in a little earlier than you might, he'll do that. Right now, Santana's throwing the ball well. He's only thrown 90 pitches. He's been in complete command of this game. He's given up only 5 hits. 2 of them were home runs, solo shots.
Now, the Angels, Tom, have played 20 games this month, and in 18 of them now, their starter has gone at least 6 innings.
Yeah, that helps you not overexpose the bullpen, that's for sure.
Saw Doug Mathis in the Ranger bullpen. Could be the 6th Ranger pitcher of the night. Frankie Francisco just got up to join him now, too.
Yeah, and depending on how this inning goes, you'll see which pitcher comes into the game. It's kind of the same a little earlier in the game when different guys were warming up. But Matt Harrison and Darren Oliver warming up. The Rangers scored, made it a closer game. And Ron went with Darren Oliver. Now it's a 4-run game. If Rangers score a couple of times, you might see Frankie. If not, you might see Doug.
Elvis is down on strikes. An 0-for-4 night for him. And it brings up Michael Young. Your Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Second time in Michael Young's career. He has homered in 3 consecutive games. All 3 games of this series. All 3 good starters. Weaver, Saunders, Santana. Michael, in his career against Santana, is now 20 out of 48. After Young, it's Kinsler, who's been probably the hottest Ranger hitter over the last couple of weeks, even hotter than Josh Hamilton. Hamilton has shaved some points off his batting average tonight. Kind of a hard luck 0-for-3. He's down to around 350 now. And Kinsler at 303. A lot of 300 hitters for the Rangers. Young and Guerrero and Cruz as well. Remember last year, Tom, there was a day in August when the Angels, all 9 of their players in their lineup, it was in Cleveland, came off the field, every one of them hitting in the 300s. And they had 9 300 hitters up there on the scoreboard.
It's tough to pitch through that. Down and away. Well, it's only a 4-run game. Strange things can happen. Saw the Orioles score 4 runs against the Rangers to tie a game up with a grand slam. It's unlikely, but you never know.
And again, the Angels bullpen the last couple of years has not been what it had been the last several years.
Well, I thought it was unlikely when we gave up the 4 runs to the Angels. I mean, to the Orioles, but it happened.
That one slams in for a strike. Santana still throwing 93. To right field and down the line. Into the crowd. A second consecutive sellout tonight. 47,000 plus. The Rangers never have led tonight. Michael Young is down on strikes. And you really do have to acknowledge tonight how good Santana's been.
His breaking pitches have been really outstanding. Way above average.
He's got 8 strikeouts now.
3-2 slider.
Slider's the pitch that really put him over the top. We mentioned it earlier when he stopped throwing that curveball a couple of years ago and just honed that slider. It's only the 3rd time this year he's got as many as 8 strikeouts in a game, as high as 10.
Well, the Angels were in a position where they needed a starter to step up tonight. Not that their starters in the first 2 games didn't step up. Can't get a whole lot better than Weaver pitched in the first game when they only gave up a couple of runs. Last night, Joe Saunders pitched a game that'll win probably 9 out of 10 times, maybe more than that, 19 out of 20 times. Rangers pitchers were just a little bit better.
Saunders, who had entered action with an ERA in this ballpark of around 12, essentially went 7 1/3 scoreless innings last night after giving up the solo home run to Young, and he's still found himself as a losing pitcher.
Yeah, as well as Santana's pitched, he hasn't pitched as well as Saunders did last night. Saunders got the loss.
That's baseball, right?
That is baseball.
Sometimes life's not fair.
And from a Ranger perspective, they scored 3 runs the first night, 1 by 1, and only 1 run. So 4 runs in 2 days and won 2 ball games.
Kinsler pops it up. And that hit streak now officially in jeopardy, as the 2 teams will go to the 9th. Santana and the Angels on top by 4. 50% with a double play combo from the Texas Rangers and Six Flags Over Texas. July 27th through 29th, Tuesday through Thursday, the Rangers and the A's, and you can take advantage of this opportunity. Go to TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS. Hope to see you here tomorrow night, too. A few tickets do remain. TexasRangers.com, the best way to make sure you've got them. Tommy Hunter will try to go to 8-0 when the Rangers play the Angels at 7:05. Doug Mathis pitches now, and Tom, the Rangers had used only 3 different pitchers their last 2 games. They've now used 5 tonight in the last 4 innings.
Yeah, and I think with a couple of these guys, they probably needed to get into a game tonight anyway, just to stay sharp. So this is one game where you really don't mind using this many pitchers. That's, for the most part, been short stints. And Ron Washington, after the outstanding starting pitching that he's got in the last 4 days, which required very little help from the bullpen, has an opportunity tonight to get them some work. Gondo went 2/3, Oliver 2/3, O'Day a third. Matt pitched a scoreless inning, and now Doug will have a shot to pitch a scoreless inning. CJ talking with grips, talking pitches with Cliff Lee.
CJ is such a student of everything, not just baseball, but as we've come to know CJ Wilson, I mean, he just has a thirst for knowledge, period.
Cliff Lee says, give me the ball, let me show you how you do it now. Nice listening to you, but let the master let the master have the ball and show you.
CJ's only a couple of years younger than Cliff Lee, and maybe that's the kind of big brother little brother dynamic that might work out. CJ's got a brother who's 2 years younger and seems to really enjoy kind of shepherding him along a little bit, and now CJ might have a chance to be the little brother here. Abreu takes the walk. He's been on base 3 times tonight. I loved what CJ said the other night, and I think we mentioned this on the air, that you'd love to learn from Warren Spahn, but you can't. And Sandy Koufax only works with Dodger people, so that's out. He says, to me, next best, I want to learn from Cliff Lee.
Well, all I can go by is CJ's last 2 starts since Cliff Lee got here. And I can't imagine that if he had Sandy Koufax and Warren Spahn helping him, that he would have done any better in those 2 games after talking to Cliff Lee. So I think he's got the right guy right here. He's also got 2 excellent pitching coaches. And with the little advice that you can get from one of your peers who's been there, done that, I think CJ's in kind of the sweet spot of instruction right now.
And CJ, I mean, he may be the most eager beaver, but everybody can stand to learn. And I went earlier tonight, Tom, when we were getting ready for your induction ceremony. Matter of fact, I went online, got my Funkin' Wagonals going to make sure I knew what osmosis was. I want to make sure that I had that right. It's the gradual, often unconscious process of assimilation or absorption. Whoa, Kinsler with a boot. What looked like could have been a double play. Instead, it's 2 on, nobody out. But just to finish the thought, I think that every Ranger pitcher, especially the starters and especially C.J. Wilson, is now beginning that gradual process of absorption, that osmosis. And Cliff Lee happy to oblige. Well, that's too bad right there.
Yeah, that's one he'll make 50 times in a row before he boots that again.
Ian had made only 1 error all year coming in July. Now there's been a handful of them this month. We'll see if Doug Mathis can pitch around it. He's got to deal with Matsui. Crowd has thinned out a little bit. A warm night. About a 3-hour game. The Rangers have a knack for coming back. And if indeed Doug Mathis can keep them at 6-2 here, you don't discount anything. Guerrero, Hamilton, and Cruz to bat in the bottom of the 9th. By the way, I'm going to look up photosynthesis tomorrow. So.
All right.
Cliff Lee's.
How about ontogeny recapitulates phylogeny?
Wow, listen to you, Mr. Ranger.
I memorized a few things when I was little.
Does it, though? Does it really? What you just said?
In the life cycle of a plant, it will go through all the stages of the complete phyla. See, that just kind of popped out of nowhere.
Dang, you just say things so pretty. He 2-1 to Matsui's up and outside. So you'll leave your glasses up on top of a moving car, but that you can roll right out with.
Believe me, I would much prefer to have my glasses back and not know what I just said.
Mike Maddox out to talk to Mathis. And anyway, just to finish a thought on Cliff Lee, the next chance to see him pitch, that's Tuesday. When the Rangers play the A's, they'll be matched up against another 9-win lefty. Gio Gonzalez will go for Oakland. You want to conjugate some Latin verbs before we're done? Or?
Sure. Mo masmata mama smata sman.
Good night, everybody.
That had to go over the heads of a few people watching. There's probably some people out there that know Latin.
Dennis Miller's laughing.
Is he?
Sure.
The thing is, you can make up something and toss that out. That might not even be Latin. And everybody's going to go, man, Tag knows Latin.
Fritz Dykert knows Latin.
Does he?
Yeah. Was he right, Fritz? He's got no idea.
He doesn't remember.
He slept through every class.
I remember one of Dave Burchett's sons came up here one time, and he was studying Latin. And I asked him something like the fluid perfect, blah, 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 the blah, blah, blah.
Close play here. Kinsler gets it across for out number 1 in the inning.
And he figured it out after a while. I think he was rather amazed that a dumb ball player actually knew something like that.
Works like a sacrifice here for Matsui. Getting the runners along to second and third. Kayaspo comes up next. And you figure the infield's got to come in here. Yeah, they're starting to move. Trying to keep it 6-2.
Yeah, you don't have much choice here in a 4-run game. Makes Kayaspo a much better hitter right now with the infield in, but that's the risk you take. Ouch.
Broke his bat. Andrews will collect it, and the runners have to hold.
Good pitch by Doug right there. Got way in on his fists. Saved himself a run, trying to pitch around the error. There would have been a double play. Through the cutter, got it in there, boy.
First base open. You can afford to pitch carefully here to Napoli. That would set up the Mathis versus Mathis matchup if it comes to that. Doug against Jeff. Ball, no strikes. Napoli tonight 0 for 4. Rare hitless game for him against the Rangers. I'm sure Napoli's with the program. He knows that Mathis indeed can do that pitching carefully thing, and if it's not right where he wants to swing, he's not gonna. It goes to 3-0. Rodney continues to work in that bullpen for the Angels. They've gotten 8 very good innings from Santana tonight. Eight just as good innings last night from Joe Saunders. There's a strike, 3-1. Well, the Rangers have only scored 7 runs total in their last 4 games now. But they've already won 2 of those. It allowed them to take the 7-game lead on the Angels that they had coming in tonight. The Rangers go to Anaheim and play a 3-game series next weekend. There's a lot more to do against these Angels head-to-head. 7 of the last, 12 games of the season? Last 13 games of the season will be against the Angels. The Angels have helped a little bit tonight by stranding 8. See if Mathis can make that number 10. The 3-2. Little loop towards Kinsler. And the Mathis versus Mathis will not happen.
Nice pitching right there by Doug after the error. First and second, nobody out. Not much happened after that.
The Rangers have their shot when we come back. Grab your bag. It's on by Progressive. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. And by the Ford F-150. Check out the 2010 F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. 47,098 started out here tonight. Not quite that many remain. Those that do remain, hoping to see that big-time Ranger rally against the Angel bullpen. Fernando Rodney has been summoned. A guy that was real good with the Tigers last year. Hadn't been half bad with the Angels this year. Getting into his 42nd game. He hasn't lost yet. Given up a couple of home runs, and he's walked 22. The Rangers will have Vlad Guerrero trying to rev up the rally here, bottom 9.
Well, Rodney's got mid-90s fastball for the most of the time. And he's also got a real good changeup.
That young baby really made a nice sign right there.
That baby's got a future in the art world.
This is opposed to an old baby. But I hate when I say stuff like that. Guerrero digs in. And Santana tonight, 8 innings of 5-hit baseball. Last night they got 8 innings from Joe Saunders of 7-hit baseball, and he took a loss. Santana online for his 9th win of the year. As you said earlier, Thomas, is probably only the second time all year that Vladdy's had a streak lasting anywhere near a week where he's just not driving the ball. There's their actual closer, Brian Fuentes. Let's face it, 16, 17 weeks into the season, if only 2 weeks of all that, you haven't been driving the ball. That's fine.
Yeah, I think at this stage of the season, all you have to do is look at the overall statistics, and you know what kind of a hitter Vladdy's been.
The kind that the Angels used to have and then got rid of. After a 15-homer, 50 RBI, injury-marred season last year. Strike two.
Vladdy doesn't argue with the umpires very often because he doesn't take many pitches. He doesn't have a chance, really.
Right.
They don't get a chance to call bad pitches on Vladdy because he swings at everything.
That one is called strike three, and Vlad will tell Sam Holbrook he didn't think so.
That didn't look like a strike.
And you're right, Vlad usually does obviously extend to that strike zone.
Yeah, it's tough to swing at a 95-mile-an-hour pitch. If it's outside, let's take a look.
On the corner.
Actually, that was a pretty good pitch. It was the kind of pitch that was a perfect pitcher's pitch. Vlad didn't think it was a strike.
But what a different series Vlad has had. Remember, he went to Anaheim and was just clobbering everything. He is 1 for 12 in this series so far.
That just means he's due for tomorrow night.
1-1 to Hamilton now. Josh had a hit and a walk yesterday, but he's 0 for 3 tonight. Made a spectacular defensive play earlier, but still looking for his first hit. A reminder that Rangers Live follows the game tonight. Recapping this one and setting you up for tomorrow. The next two Ranger pitchers, Tommy Hunter and Cliff Lee. Tomorrow and then Tuesday. Those two guys are a combined 17-4. Been a while since we've said something like that about two Ranger pitchers, you know?
It's been fun watching the Ranger pitchers. Rich trying to get back to being 100% healthy, getting his game down. Tommy's there.
Yeah, Rich Harden will make his third rehab start at AAA on Monday. He and Feldman were supposed to be the big guns. They were supposed to be the 1-2 punch. And there's still time for those guys to get to the level that they're accustomed to being. More than 60 games left in the season. Hamilton, right center field, base hit. And he'll rumble on into second base with a one-out double.
Well, Josh has been among the league leaders in doubles all season long. And a lot of his doubles are doubles that he just hustles out. There wasn't much the Angel outfielders could do on that. Torrey Hunter covers a lot of ground, but he was playing over in left center field. There's nothing he could do to get to that ball. Breo's not quite the outfielder he used to be. He wasn't going to hold it to anything but a double, but you see with Josh, it's 6-2 game. There's one out in the ninth, and he's busting it right out of the batter's box because he knows he's got a chance to take that extra base.
You don't expect anything else from Josh.
Absolutely not.
Nelly Cruz has already homered tonight. 1 out of 3 lifetime against Rodney. Nobody in the Ranger lineup has ever had a home run against Fernando Rodney. In fact, only Michael Young has ever had a double. Michael hit a home run tonight, his 15th of the year. 3rd straight game now, too. Nelly's home run was in the 7th inning tonight, his 13th of the season. Santana giving up 2 solos tonight, and that's it. The inside almost got that jersey that blouses out. That's such an advantage when you got that loose jersey. If indeed you're just trying to get on base.
Yeah, we've seen that happen before.
Canseco never would have had that happen to him. Jose's is painted on. 1-2 pitch. Way high, 2-2.
I remember one day we were playing the A's, and my son Ben was batting for the A's, and the pitch hit him, and it went into his shirt, and he had to unbutton his shirt and take the ball out from underneath his shirt and toss it back to the catcher.
Rodney strikes out Cruz. Yeah, the off-speed pitch. Something that Rodney used to get away from a little bit in Detroit. Just wouldn't trust it enough, and now he really does.
It's a pretty lethal combination when you're throwing 95 miles an hour, and then you can throw a changeup at 11 or 12 miles an hour less than that. That's a good one.
So Benji Molina, one of the many ex-Angels currently working for the Rangers. Last chance to keep it going in front of this big crowd. And again, tickets do remain tomorrow, but they are going quickly. TexasRangers.com, the best way to get them. A 7:05 first pitch. Hope you can make it out. See if Tommy Hunter can get to 8-0. And the Rangers now down to their last strike. And Tom, before we get things wrapped up, if indeed they're about to wrap up, once again from all of us, congratulations on the Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much. It's been a great day, and can't express to the fans and to all the people at the ballpark how much I appreciate their good wishes and support. It's meant a lot to me. It's meant a lot to my family. It was a great day, and I thank everybody.
Outside to Molina, 1-2. Great to see so many of your former teammates here.
Yeah, it was. It was.
They saw the Rangers get 6 hits, 2 runs, and they're looking for more than that now. Got to find a way to hang around here.
Well, Rodney's having to throw a lot of pitches in a 4-run game. This will be his 23rd pitch coming up to Benji.
Rodney wheels and deals. And again, he's up and outside. Chris Davis on deck. And Fuentes in the bullpen.
Well, let's see. If he gets on base, it is a save situation, isn't it?
Tying man would be on deck.
Yep.
There are 2 lefties due up in Davis and Bourbon. Makes sense for a lot of reasons. High pop-up. Will it get into the crowd? Looks that way. Again, the workload's gotten a little more advanced now for Benji Molina, with Matt Traynor headed to the DL. Taylor Teagarden is here now as backup catcher, but it'll be a sparingly kind of use regarding Taylor. Popped up again. And again, the fans are hoping it gets to them. It does.
Just barely, but it does.
And Benji Molina prolonging the night tonight.
It would be the 26th pitch for Rodney. Benji gets on. He's got a chance for a 30-pitch inning. But if Benji gets on, he probably won't be in there any longer.
The Angels, who have been shut down by a couple lefties the first 2 games of this series, did enough against Scott Feldman tonight. And then a little bit more against that Ranger bullpen. Taken, and that's it.
Nothing you can do right there. 5 straight 97-mile-an-hour fastballs and then a changeup.
Now, we've been saying it, and now I guess it is expressed by these Angels. They are not going to go away. You'd love it if they did. But they will stay in the rearview mirror here for a little while longer. They are back to within 6 of the Rangers. Rangers Live is straight ahead. Stay tuned for that. A 6-2 final tonight at the ballpark.